Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. I am your host, Sam Randazzo, and I am joined by my two rather healthy co-hosts. To my right, it is the one, the only, Uncle Sam.
Hello.
And to my left, it is none other than our very own Mr. Zolo, Mike Palazzolo.
Did you say healthy because you're not healthy?
Because I am not healthy. I'm actually feeling rather under the weather today, so everybody's going to have to bear with me.
What happens when you play for 4 days?
How was everyone's weekend?
Great.
That's all I get is a fucking great.
Great.
Zolo, how was your weekend?
Lions,
Living a
Lions
dream.
won.
Lions victory.
Living a dream.
Lions won. Bruce, you got to be on the mute today in case I hack my face off here.
Got the cameras rolling here. I don't see any cameras, Bruce.
Camera's on.
I don't see
You're on
anything
camera.
switching.
What do you mean
You're on camera.
switching?
We're doing our intro. We don't switch.
Intro.
We don't switch during the intro.
Oh.
All three of us.
If you're concerned in any way, I have the YouTube up on my iPad.
So as soon as Bruce
And we're
inevitably
live.
fucks up and the stream
So when I
dies
see
off,
like this,
yeah,
That's not my
I'll let you
fault.
know.
it's your fault.
That is not my fault.
Anything that happens on that fucking computer is your fault, regardless.
I'm gonna not click end stream. and
Hi.
It's just gonna shut off. So
Anyways,
High on life.
high on life. Zolo, how's your weekend?
strong,
It was a strong weekend, eh?
strong.
Strong.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that. Any high points, low points, peaks, pits?
yeah. Peaks, Lions victory. Played some good pickle. Michigan won. Good college football Saturday night. Love to talk about it if we can. Yeah, strong.
Adios, Mel Tucker.
Adios, Mel Tucker. You have a peak and pit from this weekend or no?
Sorry?
You have a peak and pit from this weekend?
My peak was leaving work. My pit was, don't remember what time I went to bed.
Getting back to work.
Go.
yeah,
back to
up and back to work.
Peak, leaving work. Pit, showing up to work.
Yep.
Bruce, how are you?
fantastic,
Good.
as always.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Fucking useless.
Shout out to Angie. Thank you for the trade, love. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Not a lot of
Zolo
people
with-
agree, apparently.
Zolo with the first blockbuster of the year. You posted the link, right? In case we got...
It's posted right now.
They're out there.
I just sent the link out to 15 different
You
people.
did. Shout out to all 7 people watching right now. Anyways, Zolo with the trade of the century. The trade of the century. It was a Kelsey Kittle swap. Loved it. Loved it. What else is going on? Anything?
No, football. We took 2 days
So-
off. We have a loaded slate.
My God, yeah.
I want to sneak in college.
We
I want to
missed the
sneak in a
Monday show. We have a
preview
lot
for
to do.
tomorrow. Let's go.
Real quick, I will say, I thoroughly enjoy a Las Vegas sportsbook experience on a Sunday watching the game. If you haven't done it, it's worth going to do one time because it is a lot of fun. I was sitting there with a bunch of tickets. I was screaming.
Did any hit? I forgot to ask that. Did any of those tickets hit?
Tyreek Hill first touchdown scorer hit. Devontae Adams first touchdown scorer hit. Bengals -3 hit. And then so my over-under parlays, I went 10 legs. I missed one game. 100 to win 22,000.
When we were there a couple years ago for SEMA,
Mm-hmm.
which was the first time I'd ever even walked in a sports book before, and we're talking like
It was like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
it was fucking-
I was like 23, 22. Anyways, I was 23. So when we walked in for SEMA, I got a table that day to watch college football on a Saturday at the Emerald Lagasse Sportsbook.
It closed.
Venetian. I believe it. Yeah, everything closes at Venetian. But I did a bunch of 10 legs, and for some stupid reason, I picked against Michigan. They were getting they were -33.5 against Maryland. It was DJ Durkin's first game against Michigan after leaving for year one, and I thought Harbaugh would come off the gas. Of course, Michigan covered. So my tickets were done early on. We fell asleep, and there was an Alabama LSU game that night in Tuscaloosa, and it was like the 9-6 game. It was a really bad game, and LSU won. And I had LSU winning and covering, and I looked at my ticket. The only thing I missed is I picked against Michigan, and I was like 11 for 12.
See, I did not pick the Lions in anything. I just didn't touch that game.
That was a weird one.
It was too weird. I just stayed away from it. Only game I lost was I took the over in the Saints-Packers game.
Oh my God.
That was the one fucking one I lost.
Yeah.
Every other one I hit. And I hit them late too, like whatever was what went into overtime? Was it Ravens Colts overtime?
Yeah.
And
Ravens
the field goal put me over.
Yeah,
got a lot
Ravens
to say
lost
about
that
that.
game and on a bullshit fucking call.
Oh,
We'll
here
get
we
there.
go. We're
We'll
gonna get there.
We'll get there.
All right, should we get right into it?
Yeah.
See the play?
We'll get there. Can we get there?
That's all
Just,
he
you want to do it right now, or you want to get there? Can
That's
we
all
get
he wants
there?
to talk
Let's
about.
get there.
We'll get there. All right, next
go.
up. Detroit Lions. Zolo, take it away.
Wow. He must be really sick. He must be really sick. It's a big win for the boys in blue. Ran into Bruce after the game. Uncoordinated.
Uncoordinated.
Big win. Obviously, they looked great in the defensive facet. I didn't think the offense was amazingly great, but they were injured. They were pretty banged up. And when you get a win in this league, when you're as injured as the Lions are right now, that's big. And that was a 2-0 team. People were picking you to lose. The spread reflected it, and the Lions looked good, in my opinion. I thought they handled the lack of injuries great. I thought they handled the criticism of the defense. I thought that was handled great. I thought everything that they needed to respond to, for the most part, they responded to as well as they could, considering the injuries. Go ahead, Uncle Sam. Let's hear it. What do you have to say?
It's what I thought it was. Brian Box is in it.
Brian Box.
Brian Branch in the box.
Brian Branch is in the box safety.
Yeah.
That's where they should have been playing him from week one, and left him there. Keep playing fucking games. You got Aaron Glenn finally figured out that, hey, if I'm not getting pressure with those four guys, maybe I should bring a Jack Campbell or bring a fucking Derek Barnes or bring a fucking Alex High School Anzalone. Bring them guys on a couple of plays and let them make plays. They finally fucking getting it now. He should have did that fucking last week against Seattle. They wouldn't have been in the fucking situation they were in. They should be at 3-0 right now. But because of some stupid shit and you not making adjustments, you're fucking 2-1.
I'm very happy with what I saw out of them this week. I thought they did a great job.
I didn't say I wasn't happy with it. I'm just fucking frustrated. It's frustrating when somebody from the fucking street knows what you should be doing as far as making adjustments, and it's not being done during the fucking game. That scares me about this coaching staff. You got Dan Campbell over there talking about great game, but you know what? I thought it was too conservative. He finally called a fucking good game and thought he was too fucking conservative. That scares the shit out of me to hear stupid shit roll out of his mouth like that. He finally called a fucking good game the way you're supposed to fucking call it. Fucking scares me, dude. I don't know. I have a bad fucking feeling. It's just like sometimes these guys act like they're fucking overmatched when it comes to coaching.
You keep having that bad feeling.
What? They've played to their opponents. That's it. It goes back.
That pisses me off.
It goes back to before Dink, and they didn't play to their opponents this week. They didn't do it this week.
Yeah.
They dominated
No,
for the
because
most
it looked
part.
like they came in with an actual game plan this week.
It's fair.
Last week, where was the fucking game plan?
Defensively,
I don't mean
hold
to
on.
harp on last week.
Hold on. Offensively, there was a game plan last week. They dropped 31 points. at
Yeah,
home.
defensively, there was nothing, okay?
Totally agree. For the second
Defensively,
year in a
it
row.
was
For the second
fucking
year in a row
awful.
against Seattle.
Awful.
But here's the thing. That was last week, and I'm with
They
you on
still
this.
almost won that game with it being as awful as it was.
I'm happy you brought up Brian Branch because you are 100% correct. This goes back to week one of training camp when we lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Everyone was freaking out, and I said, I'm not worried. You lose C.J. Gardner-Johnson in the locker room. That's where he's a loss. The reason why everyone is high on the Lions this year and why I think this is the best Lions team of my lifetime is the depth. And the depth was on full display on Sunday, which brings me to the first of my 5 things. In no area was it in bigger display, the depth, than with the safeties. Every single safety balled the fuck out on Sunday. People forgot about Tracy Walker. People forgot about him. He was a beast. The only thing he did wrong is he dropped an interception, which I doubt.
Hit him right in the
Seatbelt
fucking
gang.
hands.
I doubt he
don't
does it
think he
again.
could believe it was there.
Yeah.
And he was like,
I don't
oh,
either.
shit.
I don't either. Tracy Walker was outstanding. Melifonwu, I forgot how good he was too. He's a great hybrid safety cornerback, and he was outstanding. Melifonwu, he did everything they asked of him.
Now, let's not get carried away. This was a team that does not throw the ball well. I think the receivers outside Drake London are
Okay, but they had to throw the ball because the Lions' run defense was
correct.
Yeah.
so fucking stout.
They put him in the right position to win.
And I told you on whenever we did this whenever it was Friday, I said, listen, if there's one thing the Lions do well,
You were spot on.
they defend the run. There's one instance of them not defending the
At
run
home.
well since the second half of last year. Cost you the playoffs, but against some really good running backs since week 11 of last year, the Lions have held them under 4 yards per carry average and under 100 yards. Kenneth Walker had 2 TDs last week. He still had less than 100 yards. The Lions stopped the run very well. Very, very well. It's like the one thing that defense does really well. And it showed. You had Bijan Robinson coming off of a monster game and everyone shitting their pants, and they shut him down. He didn't look like what everyone thought.
That's what happens when you got linebackers playing in the box and you have a safety playing in the box, and you're forcing them to throw the football.
I'm glad you said that too, because do you know what they did with Jack Campbell?
Yeah,
they were lining him up on the edge, which is an excellent spot for him.
Isn't that what you said last?
That's where he should be.
You said that last week.
Yeah,
that's what I said last week. He should be outside. Rush this guy. Let him rush the passer. Let him play on the line of scrimmage. It's bullshit. He should not be a guy dropping back into coverage. That's fucking horse shit. You got a guy that size,
not just horse
that
shit.
talented.
It's fucking horseshit.
He should be on the fucking line of scrimmage making things happen. Even high school Anzalone had the game of his life. He looked like fucking Dick Butkus out there running around.
And
I was like,
Anzalone,
this fucking retard thinks he can play.
Anzalone will continue. That's my second thing, by the way, is just you already touched on all of it. The defensive game plan was perfect, in my opinion. Aaron Glenn bounced back and handled all the criticism nicely, just like he did last year.
I like him rolling the dice and going for it. I don't want to sit here and watch this sit back and let the front four try to get pressure, because it doesn't fucking work.
Can we go back to Anzalone real quick? I told you that they would, on Friday, I told you they were going to fix the pass rush completely, and they did. They stopped overcommitting on lanes. They won their one-on-ones, and we talked about it. That was a sneaky good offensive line, a very sneaky good offensive line that Atlanta had. That's why they've been running the ball so well. Well, guess what? They corrected all of that, and the safeties played well. So you know who benefits the most? The linebackers. It's Anzalone. Anzalone will continue to look like a world beater so long as there is a pass rush, and it goes with Derek Barnes, too. I thought Derek Barnes had one of his best games as a Lion the other day. He ended up with a sack, and he was outstanding in coverage, too. But as the pass rush gets better, as the interior starts to tick and go a little more, everyone reaps the benefits, but especially the linebackers.
They were playing downhill. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Downhill. You get it, Bruce? They're playing downhill. That front seven should be playing downhill. Downhill. You don't want them backing up. You back them up, and you're taking away their strength. Their strength is to be up front and playing downhill. You don't want your fucking linebackers and your D linemen fucking playing tentative. You don't want that.
I'm with you.
I want an aggressive, fuck you defense. I am so tired of watching the bend but don't break, Matt Patricia, fucking, I don't even know what shitbag defense.
I don't think this is a bend but don't break defense. I think that we have to put in perspective that week 2, they just were not prepared. They were not ready, and we talked about it.
And
Maybe they needed that humble pie.
I don't like that they were not prepared for a fucking game.
They're ready now.
If it
Wait
was
a minute
worried
now.
about, if it
for
was
a game
any
as
other
big
team,
as that game was last week, your opening game of the year, and for you to come out and lay an egg like that, I don't like that shit.
Yeah,
you
I
better
don't either.
fucking.
I moved on. Why do you still dwelling on week 2?
If it was
Okay,
any other
that's
team,
fine.
I would
I'm talking about
disagree
what's
with you.
happening
But
this week,
I
too.
agree because it was
This
Seattle.
week we got to go on the road. We're gonna go to fucking Lambo here tomorrow, and they better not fucking lay another fucking egg.
They're not going to lay
do,
an
I
egg.
will lose my mind.
I don't think they're
I will
going to lay an
Superman
egg.
punch
They're
fucking
not-
Dan Campbell.
I
They're not
don't.
going to lay the fucking
I don't.
egg.
My third of my 5 things that I'm excited, a positive that I know we're going to talk about that isn't going to rattle you. My third of my 5 things are Laporta and Branch. I think they probably have the 2 leading candidates for Rookie of the Year right now.
The Laporta thing shocks me because I didn't realize how good he was.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Hold on.
I knew he was the second best tight end in the draft.
Good at everything.
Correct.
Good at everything.
He's
He
not
can
a
block.
dominating. He's not a Gronk, but I'll say he can block.
He can block.
He can block if
Block
he's
better than
asked to.
Hawkinson. He's blocking better the guy that he's
Hawkinson
replacing.
is junk, dude. You know that.
Yeah.
He's been junk since he came here.
By the way,
smartest thing they ever did was ship him out.
Since that trade, I think the Lions obviously have a better record than the Vikings, but I got to get the numbers. But obviously Hawkinson's got an 0-3 start this year too to go along with it, and he leads the league in receptions for tight ends. But Laporta leads the league in yards for tight ends right now.
Amen.
And then Brian Branch.
You can't point all the fingers on Hawkinson when he was here, because a lot of that has to do with chemistry.
But in the last year, there were
system.
still there. He had one good game. He was good for games here and there.
The Lions were not they didn't become a good team till the end of the year after he was gone.
Regardless, he goes back to the last regime, and he never lived up to what he was supposed to do, which was yards after contact. He's supposed to be some monster, and all I saw were
he was
drops.
supposed to be the next Gronk.
Yeah,
right.
All I saw were drops and a guy who couldn't block, and that's why they couldn't run the ball. But
drops.
Let's do a little bit more on Brian Branch real quick. He's not only, and he's easily the rookie of the year on defense right now. His numbers are Sauce Gardner numbers from a year ago.
There's another rookie who's been wreaking havoc the first 3 weeks.
It's Jalen Carter. We'll get to him.
Carter's a fucking
I
monster.
still think Brian Branch has stood out a little bit more than Jalen Carter because Brian Branch is probably the best player on the Lions defense at the moment. Would you agree or disagree with that, Uncle Sam?
The best player on their defense?
It comes down to two guys. Do you think he's better than this other guy?
No, I agree with that.
You do.
He's been the best defensive player they have right now.
It's him and Hutchinson, who also is back.
No, I don't even think
He was the NFC Defensive Player of the Week.
Branch has been better than him.
I think
Hutch has kind of had a slow start. He kind of regressed a little bit there. The first game, he wasn't very good.
He just doesn't have the
second
sacks.
game, he was irrelevant.
He just doesn't have the sacks because he just got Player of the Week honors for the defensive. I know. And it goes back to the bigger picture Aaron Glenn conversation.
Right.
They had some issues the first 2 weeks that I think have clearly been resolved since.
Where Branch from week 1, he got lucky. A ball got tipped right in his arms. He got a touchdown off of it. But he still wasn't playing on the line of scrimmage yet, and that bothered me. And guess what? Week 2, the same thing at Seattle. He's over there trying to fucking guard receivers on the outside. That's not his game, dude. He needs to play on the line of scrimmage, right on the fucking line, and leave him there. Let him cover the flat. Let him cover the guys in the slot. Leave him fucking there, dude, and let him fucking play off his instincts. It's what he did in college. It's what he excelled at. That's why he was the best safety in the fucking draft.
Yeah. And that's why it cushions the blow on C.J. Gardner-Johnson because that's what he did well. Was he would line up in the box, he would be close, he would play close to the line of scrimmage, and therefore he was always in the backfield.
Gardner-Johnson play back and be the ball hawk he is.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Number one, he's not big enough.
Well, also, you have Tracy Walker, who's outstanding as a ball hawk, and Kirby Joseph, who led the rookies in interceptions last year. You have the pieces to work with if you want to. I know what you're saying. I totally agree. You're not wrong. I'm with you. Thing number 4, and I want your opinion on this because this is someone that we were really high on.
Okay.
A lot of people think Jahmyr Gibbs is good and had a better game. I didn't like what I saw from Jahmyr Gibbs until the fourth quarter. When they started to run through the left side, things got better for him. I will say that fourth quarter the other day was his best quarter as a Lion through 12 so far. What do you think of Jahmyr Gibbs so far, Sam? I still don't think it's that good.
I'm really hoping that tomorrow night we see something out of him because I'm ready to sound the alarm.
I think it's a little premature, though. The left side, you had Penny Sewell and you still got a decent guard over there. Mm-hmm. The right side was all fucking backups.
Okay, but
so I am not going to say anything about him running to the right.
I'm not talking about him running the football.
In general, his numbers aren't where they should be.
He was targeted 2 times in the passing game. You brought this guy here, and you committed to him overtaking Bijan Robinson because of what he could do in the passing game. Why aren't you utilizing him the way you should? Okay, your lead back is down, right? So, yeah, you gave Gibbs 17 carries at 80 yards.
Not enough.
That's one that's
a lot of them came in the fourth quarter.
And a lot of them came in the fourth quarter. You're not giving enough carries. Also, if you're going to utilize this guy the way that he is supposed to be utilized, I mean, talent-wise, we don't even know where he's at because how many receptions does he have on the year? I think it's less than 10 in 3 games. You've got to try and get this guy the ball. 2 targets, yes. 2 targets is not getting it done. It's not getting it done, especially in a game where they only targeted 4 guys. It was St. Brown, Laporta, and Raymond, and you threw the ball to Gibbs' direction twice. That, for me, is not getting it done. I'm kind of getting worried.
That's the play calling.
Because here's the thing, and I know that Solo's going to get into this, but we're in week 4. Jameson Williams is going to be back here in 2 weeks.
Ooh, Jamo's lurking. Yeah. He's allowed back in the building, by the way.
Now
Jamo is back in the practice facility.
Now we're gonna add another set of hands that
On
you got to.
IR.
No, his hamstring's fine. His hamstring's fine.
He's at the facility working out. He just cannot practice. But then you're gonna add another set of hands to feed into this receiving core. I'm sorry. You have if I do not see something great, I want to see Jahmyr Gibbs have the rookie of the week.
Yeah.
On Thursday Night Football.
I'm not worried about Jahmyr Gibb at all. I think that's a little premature. Number one, I still think they're trying to learn how to fit him into this offense.
You shouldn't have to.
And
He's a first-round running back. You should not have to figure out how to fit him into the offense. The offense should be keying on plays for him.
Correct. I agree with that.
I'm not.
The problem is this: you seen a glimpse of it in the fourth quarter as guys started to get tired. He was explosive. That's what he is. He's explosive. But he's not that guy who's going to run in between the tackles.
But that's
not just not him.
Even if they're not using him as that, that's fine.
You still have to use him as a threat.
If they went out and gave Craig Reynolds 20 fucking carries, I wouldn't give a shit. But at least get these plays. I want to see Gibbs utilized in like the Deebo Samuel role where they're doing all the
that's what he's supposed to be.
Correct.
He's supposed to be McCaffrey.
Yes, in the McCaffrey, do that. It is time. He doesn't need to adjust. We're a month in now. Let's go.
Right.
I want against the Packers.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think he wants.
Well, Devondre Campbell's not playing tomorrow night. They're missing a centerpiece of their linebacking core in Green Bay tomorrow night. This is the perfect chance for there to be a Jahmyr Gibbs show.
I agree.
They need to do it.
I agree, and I also agree with what you said, Uncle Sam. It was as guys got tired, we saw more. If he didn't have that fourth quarter, I would be panicking a little more. I was going off in the group chats. I was pissed off. I'm like, we were oversold on this guy.
Yeah.
They picked this guy at 12, and they have no clue what they're doing with him. I also think that he's probably the one that, other than Jared Goff, the one that's suffering from the offensive line issues right now and the injuries is Jahmyr Gibbs, because he can run between the tackles. But if your right side is collapsing as it is, there's no holes.
There was nothing there.
There's no holes on the right side.
The 4 carries I seen him carry, and 2 of them were for losses. Nobody was blocked. They were right in on top of him.
And it's affecting Goff, too. Goff was money to start the game the other day. He was 9 for 11, and then he got drilled, and that's when he was missing passes. He threw the interception, and they really need the right side of that line fix. But that's thing number 5 for me on my 5 things is the depth was it was good enough. Obviously, with safeties, it was incredible, and that's going to be your safeties going for the foreseeable future. You have Tracy Walker. But with the offensive line, the depth did its job. Matt Nelson came in. He's in some trouble now. He's obviously not going to play this week. But you had old Dan Skipper come back and fill in real nicely. Glasgow's been incredible. The depth issues are great, and what they're doing, or I'm sorry, they're not great, but the depth issues were solved for the most part. But what they're doing is they're bridging time. So basically, Decker, Vitai's not going to play tomorrow, but Decker, Vitai, Kirby Joseph, and Montgomery were bought a little bit of time, and guess what? They are all likely to play tomorrow. The only guy that's questionable is Mosley, who probably won't play just because they don't have enough time to get him live reps in practice. But you're going to get David Montgomery back tomorrow. By the way, David Montgomery has never beaten the Green Bay Packers. You think that guy fucking wants it tomorrow? You think that guy's going to be ready to go tomorrow?
And I'm going to be honest with you. This weekend, they did exactly what they had to do to get over the hump, right? Because this Atlanta game could have very easily, in my opinion, went the other way, right? They plugged guys in where they had to. They were decimated with injuries going into that game.
Some people were expecting it to go the other way.
I mean, there was a part. I got nervous.
I'm going to be honest with you. I expected Atlanta to run all over them, just like Carolina.
I mean, I said it too. We were both, you and me were on the same page with that. I just expected this to be that game where we all got.
But Atlanta showed me that their offensive line is dog shit.
I agree with that too. I'm not.
So all the success you've seen with Bijan the first 2 weeks,
it's him.
Came off of him.
Yeah,
correct.
Or they were playing bad teams. Hint to the Green Bay Packers.
Well, yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily say they were bad teams. I mean,
they got ran all over.
The Lions orchestrated this perfectly to get by last week. It wasn't over the top. It wasn't exciting. They just did what they had to do. They played gritty ass defense and they got through the week. That's what they needed to do. Now, Thursday night in Green Bay, this is when you go back to putting everybody on notice, right? Thursday night football against the Chiefs was a month ago now almost. Now you start to put everybody back on notice. They need to go in there and put an exclamation point.
It's a statement
game. Go in there tomorrow. go in there with Bijan, with your running back, David Montgomery, who they really sorely missed him.
They did. They've
Just
missed
because
him.
he makes the offense click.
They've missed him for 2 weeks. They missed him in the second half
So
of the
you're going to
Seahawks.
bring him in. He's healthy now. This is a divisional game, which is very
what?
important. Divisional game. Very important. And here's one bright spot about it. They were able to really run on Atlanta in that fourth quarter. That's something that the Packers couldn't do. Packers couldn't run on them. And if you remember, Atlanta won that game because of that.
And
They
you know
come
who
back
they're
in
really
that
not
game
going to run
and
on
won.
tomorrow? You know who the
Huh?
Packers really aren't going to run on in the fourth quarter tomorrow?
Run on Detroit.
Not going to run on the Lions.
No.
Well,
Aaron Jones
we
is
want the
scheduled to play.
Lions to run on them.
Yeah,
to
of course.
run them into the ground like Atlanta did. We
Mm-hmm.
need that same performance tomorrow.
Well, I forgot it's Wednesday. We need to make picks for tomorrow too. But
We still got to talk about the weekend.
we gotta get. We're gonna get there.
Do we want to hit Lions Packers towards the end?
Or we can do that at the end of the show.
Let's
That's
do
fine.
that.
We'll do Lions
Let's
Packers
do that.
at the end of the show. Let's get into Let's get into Sunday though. Starting it off with the Chargers and the Vikings. This one was this game went pretty much exactly as I thought it was going to.
How this guy has a job is beyond me.
Except, I didn't think that the Chargers were going to be able to pull this out. I thought they would be the 0-3 team, and Minnesota would pick up an accidental win.
I was with you, by the way, on that.
Right. One thing I thought watching this game, whichever team won it on accident. Point blank, period. Neither of these two teams played good enough to actually. Neither of them deserved this game.
That was a theme this weekend, by the way, as a lot
Oh, yeah.
of teams backed into wins, and
I
the
mean,
Chargers
my
were one of
God.
those teams that backed into wins.
I can't believe this guy still has a job,
Real quick,
regardless that they won.
which one? Which guy? Because
Yeah, which one?
you can make the case both. these
Staley.
days. Staley. Okay.
How the fuck does he still have a job?
Can we do
'Cause
this
they
real
won.
quick? Shout out to Z in the chat right now. Shout out to Arab Fantasy. Z said Staley trash. Thank you, Z. We appreciate it. So here's the deal with Brandon Staley. Did you guys see what he did?
Yes.
Yes.
You saw it. He went
Yes.
on 4th and 1 in his own territory.
Uh-huh.
He went for it and
He
gave
thought he
Kirk
was Dan
Cousins.
Campbell.
He gave Kirk Cousins a chance to win the game, and then Kirk Cousins threw the game away.
Yep.
Threw the game away. You got to be kidding me. How is this guy still employed? They literally backed into a win.
In the most perfect way possible, they did. I'll be honest. It was like every single thing that could have went wrong in this game went wrong. The really mind-boggling part about this for me is if you look at these. I mean, Justin Herbert had a very nice game. Kirk Cousins had a very nice game. Neither of these teams are playing defense right now. I mean, Mattinson kind of came into his own. He almost had 100 yards rushing, but the Chargers' offense without Eckler cannot move the ball.
He practiced today, by the way.
So supposedly he'll be back this week. But two takeaways from this game. One, Brandon Staley is my week 5 prediction on him no longer being employed. I think we're spot on because they won that game on accident.
How a team with the
Accident.
talent that they have is that shitty?
Because of the
It's
coach.
fucking beyond me.
2,
How this guy has a job is beyond me.
he's out Mike Williams now, right? So it's the Quentin Johnson show. Quentin Johnson has to
Or
step
Palmer,
up unless
Josh
you let
Palmer.
Josh Palmer go into that role. Either way, they're missing a weapon now. And I said at the beginning of the year, there will not be a time where we see the entire Chargers offense intact for more than a game or two.
Yeah.
And we're here. Eckler missing a game. Mike Williams is done
Yeah.
for the year.
By week 4, we're
Here
already
we
here.
go. It's the same song and dance with them. Number 3, I think Minnesota's in a tank. I'm willing to admit it. I think that Minnesota's officially in a tank. And I think this is going to be Cousins' last year. I'm running out of wind.
Last year. What about last week? If I'm the Jets,
They're
that's
on the
my
phone.
first phone
Right.
call is for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. They have to be on the phone. Because this team is defensively, the Vikings are awful.
Yeah, but you're Kirk Cousins. You know, I will say this about the Vikings. Their offensive line's not great, but they're enough. This guy's throwing for fucking 350 yards a game, so it's not like they're that bad to where this guy is not putting up production.
see, they don't
Zach
finish.
Wilson throws for 150 yards a game. Kirk Cousins throwing for 350 a game.
And that's why Cousins to the Jets works out perfectly.
Yeah, but
Cousins
he's
in
going to
this-
get killed there. Their offensive line's horrible. He's
Guess
gonna
what?
get killed.
Cousins in this team will not be able to do anything. They can't get out of their own way. And we said it before the season started. We said it right here. All those games that went 3 points in Minnesota's favor last year are going to go 3 points against them this year.
They're 0 for 3 in those games
exactly.
this year.
And there they are. And that's why when I said 7 wins, I was worried that was too many. And again, we're talking about 2 teams that have all the talent in the world. I mean, if you look up and down the rosters, both of these teams are talented. Granted, the Chargers one's more mind-boggling because their defense is literally full of all pros, but neither of them can get out of their own way. Something has to be done. I think
There's a really bad call in that game too on what the hell's his name?
Oh, here we go.
The safety for the Chargers, who I really like.
Derwin James.
Derwin James. He put a tackle on Madsen on the sideline. Helmet to helmet hit.
Yeah, I saw that.
Safety on the back, and they called this guy for a fucking personal foul.
It was close.
Was not a personal foul.
It was close.
It wasn't even helmet to helmet. It was shoulder to helmet on a fucking running back, and they call him for a fucking unnecessary roughness.
The reason why they said
What are we doing,
the reason
dude?
why they said they did it is because Derwin James dropped down. He dropped his helmet all the way down.
He didn't, though. He didn't.
Yes, he
put
did.
his shoulder on him.
Dude, he was
Watch the
tabletop.
replay.
I was watching
it
it live.
Shoulder.
Correct. It was helmet to shoulder. But Derwin James got so far down that Mattinson's helmet blocked it out. You couldn't see it.
Whatever. That's bullshit.
We've spent way too much time talking about this game that I would have liked because I want to transition nicely into the next game. But I have a question for you both before we move on. Do we think Kevin O'Connell is on the hot seat by any chance?
No, because I think I'm really starting to buy into the fact that this is a planned tank.
Yeah. I'm with you.
I'm
I think
really
this
starting to
screams
look
Caleb
at it.
Williams.
Yes.
You funnel Caleb Williams into Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison.
My God.
And Hawkinson. And that
My
offensive
God.
line, you plug in any of these quarterbacks.
Cam
it could
Akers.
be Penix. It could be any of these Cam Akers,
Right,
Madison.
Here's the thing. If you're going to fire your head coach and you're going in the direction of a new quarterback and it's all not orchestrated, you're not going out and making the Cam Akers trade, right? You're not going out and bringing in more pieces. I think this is a tank job.
I agree.
I think they're going to probably win 1 or 2 games for the trade deadline. I think they ship Cousins out at the trade deadline. And
If not sooner.
If not sooner, and they wait it out because I think they're going to be real, real close.
Uncle Sam, Kevin O'Connell on the hot seat?
I don't think so.
I'm with you guys.
I don't think you can blame him for the shit that's gone on there in the past few years.
No.
I would say their GM might be on the hot seat.
They just hired him, though, I thought.
Yeah,
Maybe-
new.
I can see it. I can see it. And Kirk Cousins even is probably this is probably one of his best starts ever right now.
I know. His
He's
numbers
off to
look
a
really
monster
good.
start. They're just 0-3.
Yeah, it's got to be his best start ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that just goes to show you how awful
Better
every
than he
other
was
phase
last
is.
year.
Yeah, it's better, which
Outside-
is surprising.
Outside of the quarterback and the receivers, there's nobody else doing anything.
Yeah, and they regressed in the offseason. Their
Absolutely. They're just getting
defense
older and
I
older.
agree.
lost some pieces.
Well, their defense has just gotten. I don't think they've even gotten old. I think they've just gotten bad.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's both.
outside Harrison
It's
Smith
both.
and Hunter, who else is on that team that's a veteran?
I couldn't.
I don't even
name
know who the
anybody.
fuck half
They
the
got rid
guys
of
are.
Patrick Peterson. I can't name anybody.
Garbage.
Andrew brings up a good point. Can the Jets afford Kirk with Aaron Rodgers'
There need to be
contract?
salary retained, and on
Yeah.
top of that, the Jets also gave up a lot of pieces to get people and to get Aaron Rodgers. That's the
Right.
Jets' problem right now. That's why they haven't made a move. We'll get there. We'll get there. But can we move to the other dumpster fire head
The
coach?
only coach I'd rather see fired more than Brandon Staley is Josh McDaniels.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do
Sunday
it.
Night Football
Josh
from Las
McDaniels,
Vegas.
I don't know what the fuck that was, but
He pulled another. There were 2 doo-doo plays from both of the idiot coaches that are going to get fired in the same division. They both shit the bed. Both of them.
You want
Both
to
of
know
them.
something? Josh McDaniels isn't going to get fired, though.
Why?
I don't know.
because
I'm
the
sold on.
Raiders are so far on the hook as far as coaching goes within the past 5 years. They're still paying fucking coaches that ain't there.
I don't even know if it's that. They're just.
That's got a lot to do with
My
it.
God, the Jimmy. It was the perfect storm, and you sat here and defended this team and said how they were going to be a fringe playoff contender.
I truly think with their roster alone, if you can't get into the fucking playoffs with that roster that they have, there's something truly fucking wrong.
You're talking about the
You got a
Raiders
guy
roster?
that led the
Talking
league
about
in
the
rushing
Raiders.
last year. You got a top fucking 3 receiver on this team. You got Jimmy G, who's good looking
Yeah, that's
Good
about
looking.
because he
and can still put up points. It's got nothing to do with that. But it's just you got to bring it together, and they're just it's mind-boggling how a fucking coach cannot go into this team and put it together.
okay. One, Jimmy Garoppolo is one sexy son of a bitch. Great looking dude.
Best looking guy in football.
Great looking dude. Yeah. I mean, if
My wife thinks he's adorable.
I think he's adorable, you know. I mean,
I
God.
do too.
The porn
I think
stars
he's
love him.
adorable.
Yeah. He does nothing but bang porn stars and throw interceptions, so that's the problem.
He's living the
I
dream.
mean, but let's be real. Jimmy Garoppolo hasn't looked great once this year. Okay? Josh Jacobs hasn't looked great once this year. Devontae Adams, this is the first time he's looked great. And that's just because Jimmy G was just running for his life, launching as many balls towards Devontae Adams as he could.
That's a smart thing, not a dumb thing.
Well, but no, it's not because they're still not winning.
It's a smart
They're
thing.
still not winning. And you talk about how touted their defense is. I'm sorry, the defense ain't there.
Yeah.
The
'Cause
defense is not there. They have Max Crosby and a bunch of guys that nobody knows, and then Chandler Jones, who's in an insane asylum.
And they just got shredded pretty good by what's now evident to be a Steelers offense that just isn't. It isn't it.
It's an impotent offense.
It isn't it. And I disagree on Jimmy G with both you, and I disagree on the defense. I still think the pieces are there offensively. I think they got a lot to like offensively. They're missing a quarterback, but it starts at the top. Josh McDaniels has been oversold everywhere he has gone.
Correct.
He was oversold in Denver, and he did the same thing in Denver. He tanked a really bad roster in Denver. Did he win with Tim Tebow? Did he win a playoff game with Tim Tebow? Sure he did.
Yeah, but he also drove out
Yes. Done.
two of the best players in
Thank you
in
for saying
football.
so. Thank you for
Huh?
saying so. Thank you for saying so. You set something perfect up for me just now. You guys talked about Devontae Adams. Well, guess what?
gone.
Devontae Adams, which we predicted in the summer, said, I don't got time to just wait around. I said he would be gone by the trade deadline. I'm sticking to that. It's a matter of where he goes at this point. But I genuinely think Devontae Adams is going to get traded, and maybe even Jacobs if they're
I think
gonna
Josh
keep
Jacobs
losing
is gone
games.
too.
And I think Josh McDaniels is done. And here we go. Caleb Williams, you watching? You like Vegas,
who's going
Caleb?
to get him first? Vegas or
It's a
Minnesota?
race. It's a race to the toilet.
It's a race,
Yeah,
and there's some
race
other
to the
teams that
fucking
are in this
commode.
race too. I'll be honest. For me, the Raiders are petrified dog shit right now.
Yeah.
They are.
They're at or near the bottom.
Steelers look good. Steelers look solid.
They look better. Steeler defense
Solid.
is real. Steeler defense
Oh,
is real.
yeah.
Steeler defense is real.
Hey, that's one position on their team that you could never fucking question.
Real quick.
Their defense.
The intro for the game, because that's like when you think of AFC teams, I know you're thinking Patriots probably, but when I think of
Bills.
AFC teams, I'm thinking Steelers and Raiders. Maybe the Chiefs are in that conversation. Maybe
No,
the
it's Steelers
Dolphins.
and the Raiders.
It's the Steelers and the Raiders.
Happened in the Super Bowl.
And in the intro, they were playing the old NFL Films music, and I was like,
Yep.
I was looking at the TV like this, like my tongue was hanging out of my mouth.
Wasn't Lil Wayne there to sing the Raiders out of the tunnel?
We got to bring up
Colorado, I thought.
anyway.
Oh, is that Colorado?
Yeah.
Oh.
We've talked enough about this dog shit game as well. Two teams aren't going anywhere.
One last thing.
Yeah.
The Pittsburgh backfield still worries me, and they have to get it figured out. But I thought Kenny Pickett looked decent.
Better.
Correct.
But it goes back to I don't think Raider D.
Correct.
Let Chandler Jones out, or let John Jones out of the mental institution. No, Chandler Jones. Sorry,
Yeah, they have him locked up.
got my brother.
You know they have
his, his brother whoop your ass.
Yeah.
You know they have Chandler
both were.
Jones locked up in a psych ward.
They
right
locked
now.
him up in
Is his
the.
brother there too?
Probably.
He will be.
John
He will
Jones
be.
is probably just sitting in the cell next to him.
He came out on Twitter and said that Mark Davis molested his stepdaughter.
Chandler Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
That
know
was
what?
deleted afterward.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna,
it did.
I'm going to say something right now, and I don't want to be.
Moving on. New Orleans.
He's a little creepy, and it wouldn't fucking surprise. The only thing that surprised me, he said stepdaughter. Go ahead.
Moving on.
Because Mark Davis is creepy. Okay.
New Orleans. Green Bay.
Somebody's got the HIV over here from Mark Davis.
He pays to get his hair cut like that. That man pays money to get his hair cut like that.
He looks like fucking Chucky.
Oh God. Okay. In another game that was just this game was just
Another backed into win.
oh my God. New Orleans lost to Green Bay 18-17. My takeaways from this game were simple. This is the second week in a row that we almost just seen that we've seen the Green Bay almost debacle a game away. So
Green Bay, I will say this: they faced probably the best defense they faced all year in this game.
Up there.
Oh yeah,
Best of the three for sure. Best
correct.
of the three for
the
sure.
best defense out of the
And up there.
first
okay.
I'll give you that.
scene.
Here's the thing. One, they couldn't run the ball on him at all.
That's not surprising, to be honest with you.
Couldn't run the ball.
Without Aaron Jones, they ain't got a running game.
That's true.
I mean,
AJ Dillon's this highly touted backup, though. I mean, every year we hear about
AJ Dillon's fucking 2.3 yards per carry, bud.
I'm going to save it for my Lions preview, but the fact that they couldn't run the ball
is worrisome.
It's leading to something else, and it's going to lead to other bad things. But I'll save it. Jordan Love has to throw the ball, and he's not able to throw the ball. Jordan Love leads the league in air yards right now, which some may say, hey, it's a great stat, but his completion percentage is second lowest, just in front of Zach Wilson. So he's averaging over 10 yards per pass, which when you think about it, that's okay.
Some very talented young guys that are out there fucking ripping these balls down.
Yeah.
You know,
so if he's throwing the ball that much, we're talking more Brett Favre than Aaron Rodgers because he's going to throw the ball away a lot of the time.
No, I agree.
And that's what happened.
I think the Carr injury was key.
That was the difference in the game. That was the difference
in the game.
When Carr went down, the game went away.
Right.
And on top of that, it still took a Saints missed field goal. It still took a missed field goal. If Carr finishes that game, it's over.
I agree. Saints win it by 2 touchdowns if Carr finishes that game.
Because 30-30 came in, and my God.
30-30.
It did not look good.
Well, I mean, he didn't have a bad game.
What?
Jameis did not come in and have
All
a bad
I said
game.
was 30-30 came in, and it
didn't look good. I don't think it was bad.
30-30 is Jameis Winston, by the way, for those who don't know who that is.
Did you think he was good?
I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't see much of a difference between Jameis and Derek Carr.
I was exiting.
Really?
I was exiting my seats and entering the club level.
Okay.
Or entering my club had red zone on, and the only thing I saw was the final drive, and he put them in position for the field goal. I thought he missed a throw on third down. There was a big debacle on third down. They didn't stop the clock right or whatever.
Right.
They backed into the win at the end of the day. That's
exactly.
The Packers got extremely lucky. You know, people gave Jordan Love a lot of credit. He really didn't deserve it. You know who did get a lot of credit that did deserve it in that fourth quarter? Rashawn Gary. Rashawn Gary
he had 3 sacks.
Had 3 sacks. It was his first game back at Lambo in over a year. No, I think he should be playing tomorrow. I heard
he's questionable.
He's questionable for tomorrow, but Rashawn Gary absolutely manhandled Jameis as soon as he got in. And I don't think that happens to Carr. I don't think that happens to Carr. We're in agreement. We've already talked too much about this game. We're in agreement. The Packers backed into it. Go ahead, Sam.
One more thing. I'm hoping Carr's not hurt long term. I hope he can come back next week because once you inject a little Alvin Kamara into this offense, I think it's going to open a lot of things up for them. And
they're unable.
Did you had the Saints winning the division, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I mean that's looking pretty good right now.
You have the Saints winning the division.
Your defense, I don't think Carr's that great, but he was doing enough.
Yes,
he did enough for the first 2 weeks.
Kamara would have just gave him another weapon.
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
Really open things up for him.
Because the Tony Jones Jr. show isn't really going to fucking get it done.
This is a prime candidate. I'm thinking way too far ahead right now. And again, I don't even want to talk about this game anymore. But this is a prime candidate that's going to take advantage of that massive quarterback class next year.
100%.
Is the Saints. They're going to get someone good that's going to plug in and be able to get Olave and Michael Thomas the ball and Jawan Johnson even. And it's going to work out in their favor really well.
Moving on. In the shock of the week, Houston and Jacksonville. I'm sitting there and I'm watching this game.
I took Houston by the way.
You asked me if I won any money at the sports book. I didn't because of this. Because I thought this was the no fucking brainer game of the week.
We were all high on Jacksonville. The country was high on Jacksonville, but you were extremely high on Jacksonville. Are you worried?
Yeah, I thought Jacksonville was a Super Bowl team, and I got news for you. They don't fucking look like it right
They might lose the division.
They might not be able to beat. They might not be able to beat out Houston for the division the way that they look right now.
Conversely, you've been high on Houston. You were high on Houston from day one.
I love D'Amico Ryans. I love what he stands for. I love what they did in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
They got the best quarterback, I thought, in the class.
He's got dreads. Just
got the best quarterback.
CJ Stroud's
who
dreads.
can make all the throws.
He's been incredible.
I said that from day one.
You were big on Tank Dell.
I was big.
You were right. And if we're talking Tank Dell and Nico Collins, and we're talking I'm so floored. Like I knew Stroud would be good. I'm floored with how good he's been, and he gets better every week.
Another nice game.
Every week.
His numbers are exceptional. You know what I noticed about him? He doesn't make stupid mistakes.
No.
All his throws have been pretty accurate, dead on.
Mm-hmm.
He's hitting guys in stride, which is not easy to do as a rookie.
And Stroud so far, is playing at such a nice. I mean, You were watching Trevor Lawrence
We
and
all
CJ
sat.
Stroud.
We all sat here and said which rookie quarterback did we think was going to do the best? And I told you guys Stroud.
And I said Anthony Richardson.
I said
Correct.
Richardson too.
And
I said
Richardson's head
Stroud because
scrambled
I
already.
thought Stroud was a better all-around quarterback than the other guy. I just think he's bigger than Bryce Young. He's like a fucking little kid out there.
Bears fans, you listening to this? You listen to this?
Yeah.
And Ohio State fans, you listening to this right now?
Listen to this.
If they're not pocket passers, they're not good.
Correct.
And Stroud lost to Michigan twice, but guess what? He's going to be a monster in the
Stroud
pros because he can sit in the pocket
Stroud
and make
should
the
have beat
throws.
fucking Georgia. They missed a fucking extra point. They would have beat Georgia.
Okay. Outside of CJ Stroud's illustrious college career, talking about this and right now,
That defense.
am I worried about Jacksonville? Yeah, because I think defensively that's the biggest thing. They look awful defensively.
I think the Texans are playing better than what people thought. To be honest, with you. I didn't think they were going to.
That's a part of it, but Jacksonville's been bad in all three
Jacksonville
games.
has been
They've
awful
been bad in all
three
three
games,
games.
and that's what's worrying me. I still think that they'll win the division just because.
Yeah, but it's not like they played fucking ham and egg teams here.
The Colts are ham and egg, and they
No,
only
they're
beat
not.
them by 10.
I think the Colts are a little better
Dude,
than people
stop
think.
with that. What do you mean?
Their defense is
The
one
Colts-
of the top-ranked
come on.
defenses in the NFL right now.
In what world is it's the fucking
Their
Colts?
defense is one of the top.
They're going to win 4
defenses in
games
the
this
NFL.
year, all right?
Gardner Minshew.
Come on,
he's got
dude.
that little mustache
Get out of here with
running
that.
around there, looking
They
like
should've-
Patty Mahomes.
Listen, this was supposed to be the exclamation point game for Jacksonville, and they fucking didn't do it.
Okay.
All right? It's extremely worrisome. I still think that they're going to win the division just because. Why are you tapping? You're making me nervous.
Go ahead.
Because I think Tennessee is that fucking awful. And Houston just can't win the division in year 1 of this. But it's worrisome. On the opposite end of this, Houston's going to give them a run for their money just because of the way things are sitting right now. Like, Houston is not the 4 or 5 win team that I thought they were.
That's not their last win. That's not Houston's
No,
last
They're
win.
not
Correct.
punks. They're playing hard. They're playing defense. What's his name? The running back.
Damian Pierce.
Damian Pierce finally had a decent game. He was hard to bring down. He
Just
was running
in
hard.
general, they were well balanced offensively,
Yes.
and you know they're going to be strong defensively. How long is Derek Stingley out, by the way? Do we know?
I think
Was it for the
he's
season?
on IR. I know
He's
that.
on IR, but I don't think it's a season ender.
I mean, they have pieces on defense that are outstanding. They have great pieces on defense.
They just
in my
keep
opinion.
plugging guys in, and they keep playing well.
And it kind of hurts. I know they lost one of their picks for next year. They still have another first, if I'm correct. But they lost a pick for next year. Listen, there's something to keep. You keep an eye on this team. We're thinking ahead. I think they are gonna. If they can put together more wins, we'll have to talk about them further. I don't know if it's gonna happen. I like their division. They're in a very weak division where they can make it happen. But they're going to play teams tough every week, and you could tell that they wanted it for D'Amico Ryans. You could tell
Right.
they were playing for him.
Let's move on. That game makes me sick. Leon was sitting there telling me how high I was on Jacksonville and how I was a punk for all the above. But I mean,
Consider the source,
Shout out to
and that
Leon.
answers your
in
questions
what
on
world?
everything.
In what world?
Leon, sorry, we're
Everything.
2 days late. We appreciate you.
Yeah, Leon was so pissed we weren't on here Monday. Anyways, moving on to the game that almost broke every record. All right, I would like to start this with a dialogue. Are the Denver Broncos, and I want you to really, really think about this, okay? With the whole Broncos country, let's ride thing, and doing push-ups on the airplane, and the Nathaniel Hackett thing, and then you hire Sean Payton, and then Sean Payton talks shit, and then Russell Wilson's still cringy, and then you come out after you're supposed to have completely revamped everything, and you get your asshole physically popped by your old water boy.
We wasn't thinking of popping each other's assholes.
Is this Denver Broncos series of events over the last 12 months the most embarrassing in NFL history?
I don't know about that because the Chicago Bears had a big week last week.
It's been worse.
I mean, if I don't know how you
It's been worse.
I don't even know how. It's so bad, dude. It is
Listen,
so
hey,
bad.
You know what? It's sometimes you just see games get away from guys. And that game was pretty close till about 8 minutes left in the first quarter.
Okay.
What?
The turnovers.
It was close for 4 minutes.
Let me
I said
narrow,
8 minutes.
Let
into
me
the
narrow
first
the
quarter.
dialogue. Let me narrow the dialogue. Sean Payton on the hot seat.
Yes. Fuck yes. Abso-fucking-lutely.
I need to see more than just this game. Because I truly think that they played it. They played a team right now that last week was clicking big time, and they have not stopped.
Okay, so the fact that we're even considering him, whether he is or he isn't, the fact
Right.
that we're even talking about that he might be on the hot seat is an issue in itself. So I'm with you. I think it's a little early, and I think things can be corrected. And that division's a dumpster fire. They could easily be the second best team in that division when it's all said and
Look
done.
at it right now. We thought this was going to be one of the strongest divisions.
No, not me.
No,
Not me.
no,
Not me.
no.
Last year-
Last year.
Last year, we thought this was going to be one of the strongest.
They could get 4
divisions
teams in.
football.
They
I
could
had
have gotten
Denver
4
winning
teams in.
7
And right
games.
now, I don't even think they're the third best division in their
They're the
conference.
worst division in football.
It's the worst
It's
division
the worst
in
division
football.
in football. Denver will be lucky to win 5 games. The Chargers will be lucky to win 6 games, and the Raiders are lucky to win 4 or 5 games.
You got 3 fired coaches and Andy Reid.
Yeah, that's it. It's like the AFC East used to be.
Yeah.
Okay, all in all, Miami right now. You want to talk about?
It was a hell of a game to watching
Fucking
weirdo little Mike McDaniels with his glasses on, creepy little bastard, watching his team just rip up and down the field was something.
Wait, hold on. There's not really, even though they scored 70 points, there's not a lot to say about the Dolphins.
No,
but
no.
let's just talk Tua real quick.
Tua Tagovailoa right now,
MVP.
and nobody can argue it. He's the MVP.
Did we not call this when the
Yes,
schedule
I
was
said this
released, too?
months ago. Months ago.
I said Tua, I said Christian McCaffrey, and I
Yep.
said Lamar Jackson.
And, I mean, Tariq Hill's got to be in that
And
conversation.
we were in
now.
agreement. If Tua stays healthy, this
Yep.
team not only is going to win the division,
But they win the Super Bowl.
But they have at least win the AFC. At the very least, win the AFC.
I did actually place a bet for Miami to win the Super Bowl. Well,
This weekend?
Okay.
Yes, I did.
You probably didn't get good odds through 2 weeks though, because they've looked
It
like
was
the
before
best. team.
pregame.
Okay.
Pregame.
Hopefully it was before this game.
Yes, it was before this
If
game.
that, you're not
I'll
gonna
be
get
honest with you.
Get the odds.
Who else is even close? I mean, think about who your other MVP
And
candidates
and
are
for
right
the
now.
MVP candidates.
They're
I
all
mean,
garbage.
McCaffrey.
McCaffrey, yes, but they're not gonna. It'd be hard pressing. He'd have to break every record.
happened
A
to
lot of
Broncos
people are
running
talking defense right now between T.J. Watt and then Micah Parsons. That you could put Micah Parsons in the
You
Tua
would
is
have
defense.
said that before this week.
Tua is more
Before this
valuable to
weekend.
his team
We'll get
right
there.
now. Tua is more valuable to his team right now than any other player.
I agree.
And I
So-
don't even think it's
I
so.
agree
He
with
was
that.
always good. Tua was always good, and I still like if I'm building a team around someone, I'm still building that team around Joe
He's
Burrow.
fucking accurate.
So I
Say
agree
what
with
you
Joe
want to
Burrow
say
going
about the
first.
ragdoll. He's fucking
No,
accurate.
when his brain is solidified, when his
Yeah.
brain is not mush, he's one of the like we only saw him win in college. We
Yeah.
only saw him win. So how fun would Tua versus Jalen Hurts be in the Super Bowl this year? Two Bama quarterbacks, the one that replaced the other one in the national title game. How fun would that be to see? That'd be great. It'd be a bloodbath. I'd be so fucking excited to see that.
Even outside of Tua, I mean, you want to talk. Denver's defense is so fucking putrid. And I said this last week.
Listen, they got.
You know what? Stop. No, because I'm going to put you on blast right now. I'm putting you on
can't put
fucking
me on
blast.
blast.
Yeah, I am, because you came up here
ahead.
last week
ahead.
and talked about how good the Broncos defense was. And
Okay.
they a 70 burger.
They laid an egg.
Dude, it was
They laid
over
an egg. It
300
happens.
yards rushing, 300
It
yards.
happens.
No, it
Just
doesn't
like
happen.
just like Detroit's defense laid an egg against Seattle.
It wasn't
It fucking
750 yards of total offense and 70
Doesn't
points.
matter, dude.
Yes, it does,
They gave up
dude.
400 fucking yards. What's the difference?
Between 400 and
lost.
700 an entire game.
lost.
An entire
Games
game.
like this happen, dude.
No, they don't.
Yes,
That's why
they
it's the
do.
second time in history it's happened.
It happens.
The second
Not-
time.
not
the
the
first
first
time in
time.
50 years.
It's not the first time.
Denver is
Shit happens.
fucking putrid. Their defense is putrid.
I watched Buffalo Bills blow somebody out by 50 points.
It is the never. It was
in the beginning
never
of
this.
last fucking year.
It was never this bad.
They weren't even trying. Like the reason why Sean Payton hasn't bitched as much as he could have about running up the score is because the Broncos literally weren't even trying to run up the score. They were doing it with
Dolphins,
backups.
you mean?
Or excuse
Yes.
me, the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Mike McDaniel's like, I don't want to break the record because I don't want to be a bad sport. Do you understand how much of a fucking vagine you look like as the head coach of the other team when he's like, oh, we're
what
going
it
to
is.
get off the gas here so we don't
Anyway.
hurt anyone's feelings.
Do we want to say anything about? I know you don't, but do we want to say anything about A-Chain or
Go
Mostert?
ahead.
Do we want
I
to?
mean,
They both ran the ball
doesn't
exceptionally well.
surprise me. He's one of the guys that actually, you know what? The Lions had a radar on him.
He was considered in the draft one of the best, like, out of all the running backs that ended up in certain places. Like, of course, Bijan's a monster. We think Jahmyr Gibbs could be good. This was considered one of the best fits.
He was the fastest back in the draft.
He's the fastest. The top 5 clocked times this year are all
Miami.
They're all Dolphins between Tyreek Hill, Mostert, and A-Chain. They're all Dolphins plays through the first 3 weeks. Man, they got some speed there. Them boys
Speed
quick.
kills, baby.
Yeah. If you got dreads, you're quick.
I mean, Tua has to be. They're clicking on every cylinder, and I just don't see, unless Tua gets hurt, that train just keeps rolling.
Agreed.
Next up, the Tennessee Titans and the Browns. Well, the Titans are exactly who I thought they were. And shout out to every single human being on Instagram from somewhere near Nashville who repeatedly, week after week, comes out and says, "Oh, the Titans are going to win this game 48-3 every week." We get multiple people. And no other team does that besides you, Titans fans.
Bruce, cut to me real quick.
Got you.
It's for you, Titans fans. All right, you can go back to Sam.
Fucking awful. Did Cleveland impress you at all?
Uncle Sam, you've been high on Cleveland from day one.
Cleveland's defense is everything I thought they were.
This is your chance to stomp on our graves. You've been right
And,
about
Amari Cooper had a huge game.
I said that. Thank you. I
Amari
said
Cooper.
that.
But I'm the Amari Cooper guy.
Yes, but
every time I pick Amari Cooper,
But see, you're not the Amari Cooper guy. You're like the Amari Cooper court gesture
he's still a viable guy in this league.
Yes,
that can put points up.
No, when you say Amari Cooper's gonna have a big week, nobody listens because it's all you do is pull the string, and it just comes out. Amari Cooper's gonna have a big week.
Whatever. The Browns defense is for real.
Uncle Sam,
whoever thought they were not good, learned right away.
Why are you saying that? Because they stopped Ryan Tannehill?
No, they brought the pieces in to make this defense a big threat. They're an actual threat now.
I'm not sold on that.
Myles Garrett's a monster.
Not
3
sold
weeks.
on that yet.
Yeah.
Can they win the division?
I think so.
Would you through 3 weeks, would you pick them to win the division?
I as of right now, and what I've seen out of the other teams, I would say that they're probably the best team right now. They have the best defense outside Pittsburgh.
Are you fucking high?
I think if Gibbs plays the full game, they could be 3-0, and I am much higher on the Browns today than I am. I was low on the Browns.
I didn't think they would be that good.
It mainly comes down to I didn't think Pittsburgh was going to be so bad, and I really didn't think the Bengals were going to be this bad. But the Browns are going to have a very good shot, not just to get into the playoffs, but they have a shot to win the division.
The hurt Burrow means a lot too right now.
Oh shit!
That means that's huge.
It's huge.
But I thought for sure that they would.
And the Ravens, Ravens are also extremely banged up.
I took Baltimore to win this division.
Same. I had Baltimore in the Super Bowl.
Listen to me, Baltimore.
And I don't know at this point.
Come on, you guys.
I think they match up pretty well with Baltimore.
Don't do this.
Can you at least admit that out of those 4 teams, Cleveland has looked the best of the 4? Can you admit?
Yeah.
Yes, through the first 3 weeks.
Fair. That's all I'm looking for. That's all I'm looking for.
Against Tennessee, who it's well documented outside of Tampa Bay, I think is the worst team in football.
Okay.
Yes, because
I don't.
Look at this Ryan Tannehill stat line: 13 for 25 for 104 yards. Wow. Guess what, dude? Cleveland's an 8-win team. And the only way Cleveland wins this division is if Burrow is actually hurt. And
What is Cleveland's record right now? They're 2-1.
Huh?
2-1.
Yeah, they get 6 more wins. I'll give.
Who'd they lose to?
They lost to Pittsburgh, after the emotions of losing Nick Chubb.
Yeah,
and they could have won that game too. They could have won that Pittsburgh game.
Correct, but Tug and Rub threw it away at the end there.
Yeah,
but Tug and Rub's starting to play within himself right now.
Oh, Jesus!
His second half was big, but I don't disagree.
Cleveland's an 8-win. So
I want to see it with better opponents.
My God,
right?
But
you got to sit here and tell me that you think that both Cincinnati and Baltimore are going to be held under 10 wins.
I don't know about winning the division. I still think Baltimore wins the division. I think they're just really banged up right now, and that's why they didn't play as well as they did.
They play Baltimore, they hit a bye, and they go to Frisco.
Oh, so we'll find out a lot about
Here it is. You'll get your gauge on it when they play Baltimore next week.
But you know what? After they play Frisco, they're at Indianapolis, and you said that's going to be a tough one for them.
I think it will be. I think Indianapolis defense is for real.
I knew their schedule a little bit ago, and I forgot it. They play someone good after the Colts, too.
Seattle.
So 3 of their next 4 with the bye, 3 of their next 4 are tough. We'll learn a lot about Cleveland. At a minimum, you got to admit this. I didn't think the AFC's weak this year. It was supposed to be really
They come
good.
out
and
winning
they're gonna
two
lose
out of
three.
these
They're
next
gonna lose-
three. They come out winning 2 out of these next 3. They're for real, dude.
They're going to lose 3 out of the next 4.
I'll move that to 2 out of 4. I don't think they're going to do it, but if they win 2 out of the next 4 and you have
Okay.
to bye, I think they could at least sneak in that 6 or 7 slot in the
Okay.
AFC. I
agree.
can see it happening.
On November 1st, they're going to have 3 wins.
Okay.
Sorry. Just as for Tennessee, you're fucking awful. Ryan Tannehill's fucking awful. Your big offensive weapons that you tout online. I don't even know who Chris Moore is, but he was their second leading receiver.
Okay.
They're awful. Could you name me anybody? Are you looking at a stat sheet there?
No, I'm not.
Could you name me 3 receivers on the Tennessee Titans besides Chris Moore, who I just said?
I don't even know who the fuck Chris Moore is.
That's what I'm saying. But outside of that,
DeAndre Hopkins.
mm-hmm.
And
One.
who's the other kid that they drafted last year?
Treylon Burks.
Yeah, Treylon Burks.
Go ahead. Can you give me a third?
No.
That's what I'm saying.
HR Puffin stuff.
Bruce, give me one more real quick.
Moving on.
Okay.
Bills Commanders.
There's not much to talk about.
Sam Howell looked like dog shit, and Buffalo
Yeah, he
routed
did
him.
not look good.
So Buffalo they're improving, but I also don't think they've beaten anyone pertinent
Agreed.
at this point. And then the counter to that is now we know the Commanders only beat shit teams.
Correct.
We're going to learn a lot about the Bills this week, I think.
Bills are a 10-win team. Commanders are a 5-win team.
Done.
That's it. And I mean, who do the Bills play this week?
Your
Bills.
guys in Buffalo got to be happy there that they made this little fucking turnaround here.
Well, I'm not ready
From
to
week
say
1,
that
they were ready to kill themselves.
The Bills are
They play
playing
Miami.
That should be
That's
a
game
fun
over.
one just out of curiosity. It's in Buffalo.
And that's a
Buffalo,
divisional
are
game.
you good? The Yak guys, is your team good? We were low on them. You agree with me that if there's one team that would push them, it was Miami. We've been high on Miami. So are the Dolphins really that good? I think they are. And is Buffalo what they think they are going into the year? So
Well, here's the problem. They're playing at Buffalo right now.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yep.
Miami's going into Buffalo.
Yes.
It's going to be 80 degrees. That's the problem. Be different if they were going there
whatever.
in January.
Whatever, dude.
I want to see
All
these
right.
guys.
But you think I'm wrong?
As much as the weather, like I think home field advantage matters with the weather at certain points, like Lambo and all that.
Buffalo, when it's fucking cold, it matters.
I want to see both of these high-powered offenses. I want to see them in clean weather with the sun out. I want to see them at their best. I want to see them at their fastest, at their strongest, at their peak. And
Can I be honest?
yeah,
And I don't want to spoil Friday's show, but I think Miami's going to absolutely rout them.
Fair.
I think Miami's going to run them out of the building.
fair.
We'll see.
Next up, Colts Ravens. This one, I mean, you want to talk about a shocker, overtime shocker. What happened with Baltimore, man? I mean, this was a team. Zolo had them in the Super Bowl. Youth said they had the best defense in football at one point in the offseason.
Who did?
You
I said who had the best defensive football?
said Baltimore had the look to be the best defense in football over the offseason. Right up there with Philadelphia. That was what you
No,
said.
God.
That was what you
God, no.
said.
Listen,
I don't know how many
I'm only
Aladdins
big
you
on
drank
2
that day.
defenses. One is gangrene, and the other one is the Eagles.
That you said this. I'm not pulling anything.
Listen
how
to me.
many Aladdins
I
you
said
had.
that they have. See, they don't have your mainstay guys on that defense anymore. They don't have big name guys anymore. So it's hard to. Outside David Ajabo, who really has underachieved so far, they haven't really been clicking yet. They're not there yet. That whole team just seems off to me right now. The only guy that they got that's on is Jackson. That's it.
Kyle
They got
Hamilton,
some serious fucking
Roquan
injuries.
Smith.
I mean, outside Lamar Jackson, I haven't really seen anything impressive. OBJ's hurt.
Flowers was good the first 2 weeks, but
Yeah, he was good 1 week, the first week. And he's kind of fucking disappeared.
I think this was there's a lot to do with injuries on this one. I think the Ravens
I
are
agree
pretty
with
banged
that.
up. I'm not pulling the alarm yet. One of the reasons why I am, if I were anyone in that division concerned about any of those teams starting, is because the Browns have come on, and the Steelers have lucked into some wins. I'll say this much. I think that the Ravens will probably be fine. I think they're going to get healthier. This happened. They're more banged up than a lot of teams every year. They lose a lot of dudes, and they're still in there at the end. And they're going to get healthier. They don't have a lot of catastrophic injuries outside of our friend J.K. Dobbins.
And the Ravens did get fucked in this game on a no-call pass interference that was blatantly pass interference that would have kept a fourth down drive going. They had a first down. The guy fucking hit him before the fucking ball was there, and they didn't call it. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Typical NFL.
So we're not too concerned with the Ravens?
Huh?
We're not too concerned with the Ravens, correct?
I wouldn't be. I mean, they should have won this game. The Colts backed into it, but their defense has played excellent. The Colts defense has really turned it up. And I was really impressed with them. They did a good job on Lamar. They did.
Can we move on to this next dumpster
Let's
fire
move on to the next dumpster fire.
Okay.
Patriots, Jets. You want to take this one away? These are both your teams.
Would you say that gangrene has gangrene right now?
You know what? It's so hard because they're on the field so long in every game that it's fucking redundant. That the Jets offense is so bad that they cannot continue to sustain any kind of drives at all.
So do you know the latest right now?
What's that?
Are you up to speed on the latest with what's going on over there?
No, I'm not.
He's losing the locker room. He is in
Saleh?
Robert Saleh because of the commitment to Zach Wilson,
Yeah.
the overcommitment.
Well, I had seen Joe Namath had made a few comments. Now, I don't know how many fucking shots deep he was because Joe likes to fucking put it away.
He hits the bottle.
He likes to put it away. And it doesn't surprise me that they're lashing out on Robert Saleh. But Robert Saleh's the best coach they've had there since Rex Ryan.
So
they need to just shut the fuck up.
I always thought that they were the third best team in the division. They might be fourth at the moment because of the Patriots, but I always thought they were the third best team in the division. That being said, because of the weak starts, they could still sneak into the playoffs. You got to make a phone.
They're not going to do it with Zach Wilson.
You're not. That's what I was getting to. You need to make a phone call. There's guys. If it's Stafford, if it's Russell Wilson, if it's Cousins, whoever, there's got to be a guy that you can make a phone call on right now. And then you're gonna love this. Colin Kaepernick's mentioning them. You know, I'm working out 6 days a week.
Fuck him.
Put me on your
what?
practice squad.
Stop it.
There's-
You know what? Call Matt Ryan.
Who would you rather have?
Matt Ryan.
I think Matt Ryan said he wouldn't go to the Jets. I think they was literally on record saying that, or he had contact with the Jets and it didn't work out.
You know what? I would rather see a guy like Matt. Colin Kaepernick is dog shit. He hasn't played football in 8 years. Give me a fucking break.
He's just saying, sign me to your practice squad. That's what he said.
Whatever.
Woody
Whatever.
Johnson, by the way,
why even give him the opportunity?
The
He
owner-
doesn't deserve the opportunity.
the owner of the Jets, Woody Johnson, tweeted back in 2016, tweeted at Colin Kaepernick and called him weak for everything he was doing with the kneeling and all that. So it'll never happen. But at this point, if you're the Jets, what do you do to make sure that this season doesn't go out the window? Because
Call Phillip Rivers up and ask him if he's in shape still.
Phillip Rivers is too
Tell him
busy
to stop
fucking.
banging and
You know
having
that.
all them kids, and call him up and get him over there. Listen, they need a real quarterback there. They need at least a guy with some experience. They can't bring in some fucking has-been from 8 years ago that was never really good in the
So
first
then who do
place.
you suggest it's going to be?
I don't know. At this point, I don't know.
Outside of
There's
Kirk
got to
Cousins?
be guy. Call the Detroit Lions and offer him something for Teddy Ballgame.
No, my God. You just said some guy who hasn't been anything in 8 years.
What do you mean?
Then you fucking go.
Teddy Ballgame and walk right in there and take over.
Dude, shut the fuck.
You don't
So-
think he's better than fucking Zach Wilson?
No, I would take Zach Wilson
So
over Teddy Ballgame.
there's
Get
got to
her out of
be
your
there's
mind.
got to be someone, because I'm with you. Robert Saleh is not just the best coach the Jets have had since Rex Ryan. Robert Saleh is one of the best coaches in the league, in my opinion.
I agree.
I think he's outstanding. So when a guy like him, who players love and love to play for, is losing the locker room, is losing the defense that he built. He's a defensive guy. When you're losing your defense, you have to do something. We're beyond like how much longer does the Zach Wilson experiment go? We're beyond that.
No,
we're at, okay, what week
are
are
we
they going
doing
to pull
to
the
fix
plug
this?
and
Yeah.
who's it going to be?
Zach Wilson is a guy to come in and
When you're up 70-20 and just finish the game out for you.
turn around, hand the ball off a couple
Yeah.
of times, or put him on special teams to catch that little snap from the center to hold the ball for the kicker. That would be a good job for him.
Listen, somebody in the comments said they never should have let Mike White walk.
Shout out to Z. That's
You know
Z.
what?
I know you were a big.
I
you were
agree
a
with
big
that.
Mike White.
I fucking
advocate
agree
last
with
year.
that. They should never let Mike White walk.
Realistically, it's Kirk Cousins or nothing, in my opinion.
You know what? Mike White is in Miami. He don't give a fuck. You know why? Because he's probably gonna win a fucking championship.
I do think when you hear comments like losing the locker room, if they could pitch a team on you just need to eat some salary, I do think I think there's a bet. It's crazy. It's a crazy
Let me
call.
ask you a question. If this injury never happened to Aaron Rodgers, do you think they would be in this position right now?
I think they might be 2-1. I still think they win that Bills game.
Oh yeah.
And then I think they
probably
still
win
lose.
this.
They lose to Dallas. They probably
Yeah.
beat the Patriots.
That's how I had him going
Yes.
with Rodgers.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you.
I was still low on Gang Green. I still had them third in the division. I still didn't think they were Bills quality, and I certainly didn't think they were
their
Miami quality.
Their defense is top 5. That's not that
Yes, their defense is top 5, but their offense is bottom 32.
Mm-hmm. They still. I
So-
mean, you still should be able. Okay, you have Breece Hall and you have Dalvin Cook. One of those guys. Those are two good backs. Their offensive line is bad enough to where I still think they could have been stagnant with Aaron
Yeah,
Rodgers.
but man, they're just loading up the box on these guys. They're daring them to throw.
That's life. They
They're
would have
dropping
loaded.
2 guys back into coverage.
They would have loaded up the
They're
box on
daring
Aaron
them to
Rodgers.
throw.
They would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's over. I think the season's over for them.
I don't know. It's going to be if they don't make a move here. Unless
But
Jesus
at
Christ
the same
jumps
time,
into Zach Wilson's body.
at the same time, I don't.
Tim Tebow jumps into Zach Wilson's body.
I don't see anything that I actually like from New England either, though.
No.
So I
Dog
mean,
shit.
Dog shit.
Mac Jones is a pussy punching Sauce Gardner in
Yeah,
the
he
balls.
punched him in his ball bag. Did you see that?
It's the only way you can stop Sauce. Punch him in the bag. I don't have a
the
problem with punching
is-
guys
Punch him
in
in
the
his
bag.
The
sauce
problem is he
packet.
does-
I want to punch Bruce in his bag.
He's constantly doing dirty things, Mac Jones. Constantly.
He's still-
It's not his
Mac
first
Jones
time.
just a little bitch.
Yeah.
Like he's just a definition of a little
Yeah.
bitch.
A little bitch that Caleb Williams is gunning for.
Yeah, I mean, they're just bad. Like they're bad.
Josh Allen.
Just gonna say this just for the record. If you ever needed to know more,
How about the red rifle? We talk
Yeah.
about the red
We'll
rifle.
we'll go. Hold on. Let's hear
no,
you
it's fine. I'll save it. He
Okay.
wants to talk about fucking Andy Dalton instead of letting me talk. We'll talk about Andy
Go
Dalton.
ahead. No, I'm
Anyways,
sorry.
it's
Go
fine.
Red Rifle had a monster
Fine.
game, and
Nice showing.
they had no business being in that game, and it just pisses me. I'm with you. It pisses me off on what the Lions did the week before even more because I still think Seattle is very fraudulent. But Red Rifle was good. He was very good, and he made Chark and Thielen look good in the process.
Yeah, I thought that. I thought DJ Chark really had a nice game. He's who we thought he was. Kind of missed him a little bit.
Do you think they should let Dalton start?
No, you got it. It's Bryce Young's
No,
team.
yeah, Bryce Young's
You,
going to be
get
don't
him the
think, you
wraps.
don't think they should keep Dalton in there for a couple more weeks?
A
Gotta
lot
get
of
him
the
the wraps.
concerns that they
Bryce
had
Young is good.
that they're having with Bryce Young. I mean, his size is small, but a lot of the concerns they were having with Bryce Young, they had with Tua too early on. I don't know if you remember that or not. And I think Bryce Young will be fine, and he's just got to ease into it. It's not going to come as easy as I thought it would this year. I thought they were going to be good based on how they were last year.
I just think they're a lot more competitive with Dalton in there right
Can
now.
I-
Maybe.
If you put Bryce Young back there to throw the ball 58 times, Andy Dalton threw the ball 58 times. My man's going to get killed if you put Bryce Young in that kind of a
Yeah.
situation.
And that's also not what they want to do.
Right.
Okay.
I don't think they looked good at all. I mean, they didn't run the ball well.
Walker's a monster.
Kenneth Walker is had a very nice game. Thielen rose from the dead and had a decent game. I still miss Chark here. But I agree.
He didn't look bad.
Huh?
Caught that nice touch.
Yeah,
I wish he was still here.
Chark had a great game.
I wish he was here.
Seattle to me is extremely fugazi still at this point. I don't think that they
Fugazi?
are.
It's too early to. It's
Fugazi, it's a fairy dust.
it's
That's the
too
first
early-
time you've talked in 75 fucking minutes. Shut up.
It's too early to commit to anything with Seattle. I think the Lions just choked that game away still. But Seattle lost to the Rams, and they needed the final drive to beat the Panthers.
Correct.
And I think that says something.
That does. And I'm sorry, I'm not sold on Geno Smith. It's just not. They haven't even started to utilize Smith and Jigba. Like I'm not sold on them yet. They're exactly what they were last year. They're a nine win team on accident that's going to just scurry around to try
That's
and make
already-
the playoffs.
I'd love
already
to see what
lost
the
to the
Niners
Rams.
do to them.
Yeah.
I want to see what the Niners
Yeah, I think the Niners are going to absolutely gape. Anyways, moving on. Bears Chiefs.
Oh God.
There's not much to talk about here.
Other than the fact that
I refuse
Taylor
to talk about
Swift.
Taylor Swift. Fuck
Taylor
that.
Swift and Mama Kelsey
so
were
stupid.
watching the game from the box.
That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen watching a football.
Why?
Because it's
She's
fucking
international
ridiculous.
superstar Taylor
Oh
Swift.
God, superstar! What the fuck you mean superstar?
International super. You don't have a friendship
Taylor
bracelet?
Swift is the biggest
Oh,
pop
what?
star, the biggest musician on the planet at the moment is Taylor Swift. It's
Who
not.
is?
It's
Taylor
not even.
Swift.
It's not even up for debate.
It's not even close.
It's not even up for
Really?
debate.
She's the
Really?
biggest
Yeah.
deal on
She's got
earth.
what,
right now.
10 billion followers or something like that?
She might as well. Her people are
Who gives a fuck
controlling.
about that?
Travis
What the
Kelsey's.
fuck about her, dude?
Travis Kelce's
He's used
jersey
and
sales?
abused. Everybody and their dad's been smacking that. Really, dude? What are we doing here? What are we talking about here? What's she
Used
gonna
and
write a song
abused.
about him? She gonna write a song about him after they break up?
That's the
What
risk he
fuck,
takes.
dude.
That's the
Who
risk.
cares?
That's the risk he takes. He could have
Who
a song written about it.
cares? They made such a big deal about that on TV. I was like, I want to watch football. I don't want to fucking see her.
Well, I mean, the Bears.
I
The
want to
Bears
see some
weren't getting.
skinny white girl.
The Bears weren't giving you anything to make a big deal about, and that's what I'm here
know
to say.
what?
Bears fans, if there's any of you watching this, I'm done dancing on your grave. It's not even fun anymore.
Yeah,
but go ahead,
dog
Uncle
shit.
Sam. You know what?
You know what? Let me tell you something right now. Justin Fields, I don't know, dude.
No, we do know.
I don't know.
No, we
I
know.
don't know.
It was over from
He
the
has
start.
regressed so bad.
Can I
From last
step
year.
in here real quick?
Please.
Go ahead.
Real quick. You're saying he regressed. You're saying that we. At the end of the day, here's what it is. You and I were wrong. He's fucking dog shit. Okay. Justin Fields is fucking dog shit.
You were high on him.
You were too.
Everyone was high
you
on
were
him.
fucking
You
high
were
on him.
too.
All
Everyone
you
was high
talked
on him.
about is, I think Justin Fields can be a top 5 quarterback. Yeah, right. Right.
In what fucking world? You were right there
That
with
was
me,
you.
hand in hand.
I never said that.
Skipping. Are you
I have
joking?
never said that about him. I
Oh
said it could
my
go either
God! You
one
are
or
so
two ways.
full of shit.
Fuck
That's
you.
me. Why do you think he's
Fuck
sitting there
you.
like this? Because he
Listen to me,
knows.
I don't like Justin
I had the
Fields.
take
I'm
where
Elmo
Justin
with the
Fields could win
flames
the
in the
MVP,
background right
and you were
now.
sitting there. Yeah, you know, there's a chance he could do it. You were hand in
I
hand.
did not
with me.
fucking say that.
Fuck yes, yes
No,
you
I
were.
didn't.
You
no
were hand
fucking
in hand.
way,
so
dude.
now we can
no
both
way.
own it.
No way.
Whatever. Then
I
I'll
am not a
fucking do
Justin
it.
Fields guy.
I will.
Never been one.
Hey, you have a fucking job to do now. You have a job. You're gonna go pull
When have I ever
every.
said that Justin Fields is any good?
I will
ever.
agree. I don't think he's ever said.
I have never
Bullshit.
said that about him.
Bullshit. When
have
when we
never
talked
said
about
that about
MVP candidates, he agreed with
I
me
did
in
not agree with
lockstep
you. I
that
did not
Justin
agree
Fields
with
had a chance to be MVP.
Oh
we
yes,
talked about-
yes.
Thank
Well,
you.
everybody's got a
Yes.
chance to be MVP when we're talking about in the beginning of the year.
Oh yeah, Blaine
Whoa.
Gabbert really had a chance for MVP. No, I said Justin Fields, and you were right there
That's
with me.
you. Stop making shit up.
Oh, whatever. anyways, I was wrong.
Listen to me.
I will
I
admit
think
it.
Colin Kaepernick's going to win the MVP.
I'll be man enough
Okay.
to admit
He's
when
got
I'm
my vote.
wrong.
Whatever.
Okay? The Chicago
Never do.
Bears are garbage. They're a 2-win team at best if somebody accidentally loses to them. Justin Fields is fucking awful. Everything about them is awful. And I think one of their coaches are in jail now.
If
So
it weren't for Taylor Swift,
nobody would have watched this game.
but this would be a
That's not
lot
bad.
bigger. This would be a worse, and that's why I disagreed on the Denver thing. I'm like, well, the Chicago Bears kind of got the Broncos beat, and if it weren't for Taylor Swift, they should be writing a thank you note to Taylor Swift right now because she overshadowed any disaster that occurred on the field in that game, including, I don't know if you know, Justin Fields got fucking smashed in the head. Did you guys see this?
I did.
Got smashed in the head, and DJ Moore had to pull him off the field, and the Bears staff put Fields back in later in the game. They got
was
no
fine.
fucking clue
He
what
was
they're doing.
fine.
He was stumbling. If
He
you're
still doesn't
stumbling,
know how to play quarterback. That's
that's
beside
true.
the point.
You know what? I got no argument for that.
He's a running back playing quarterback.
I
You
have
know
no
that.
response.
San Francisco would have had him. They probably won the Super Bowl.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Wow. Here we go.
This was my biggest.
I'm
this
so
was
glad.
the most entertaining game of the weekend for me.
The Cowboys.
the
and
next game.
Cardinals.
Go ahead, knock yourself out. Do
Yeah,
some
have
grave
at it.
dancing.
I absolutely love seeing the Cardinals punch them in the mouth.
But you love seeing every team punch the Cowboys in the mouth, correct?
You know what? Anytime that the Cowboys lose, I am happy.
Done.
Because guess what? Dak Prescott showed that he's dog shit once again.
He did.
All he does is prove my point week after week, year after year. He is absolute horse hockey.
He missed a lot of throws. He missed a
Yeah.
lot of throws.
And you know what? I'm going to say this, man. James Conner was not playing. My man was ripping that Dallas defense a hole up their ass.
Okay. That was a fluke of the week in my opinion. I was blown away.
I don't know.
call
I don't
that a
know.
fluke?
I don't know. I want to talk about the Cardinals for a second. They've played now 3 games in a row, really tough, and people are making fun of Jonathan Gannon left and right.
I think he's done a great job.
He's done a good job, number one. Number two, his players are playing very tough for him, extremely tough for him.
Josh Dobbs, dude. This guy's got balls as big as church bells. That fucking guy took off running. Becca Parsons was chasing him. He wasn't even scared.
We'll restart at what you said. That's where we restart it.
What, are we off again?
Yeah.
The Wi-Fi is going fucking crazy, and we're dropping frames. I'm watching it drop frames.
For what it's worth, on my computer, it's been low res the entire time.
But
See, mine was high res for a while.
Well, yours is what matters.
Okay.
Mine's moving again.
Yeah, so's mine.
I just
Okay.
don't know. I just
If
don't
we
know where
just-
it's at.
Should we just keep it rolling?
well, now we're at 9.1% frames dropped. So
What does that mean?
Let's rock.
Let's roll.
The
Okay.
fuck, dude.
Okay,
Little
so
hiccup.
Fuck, dude.
we
Little
left
hiccup.
we left off, I think, at Jonathan Gannon. I just want to say that I think he's done a great job, and people were making fun of him and saying he has crazy eyes and he looks like Steve Buscemi and Mr. Deeds when he's in jail. Who's your
Listen to
friend?
me. You
I don't
want
like
to
him.
know something? I watch this guy. He controls his sideline. He's controlling that team. He knows everything that they're doing. And let me tell you something. He's got them playing at a very high level where everybody expected that team not to win a game.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And they could be. I mean, they're not going to make a lot of noise this year, but I'm. A lot of people think they were going to move on from Kyler. I don't think that. Kyler was good when he was good, and he posted this really emotional video of him training to come back, and I don't think they're Caleb Williams quality anymore. I think they could spend their picks on something good next year to make their, like maybe Marvin Harrison. You throw Marvin Harrison in that offense, and then you get some good guys to play for Gannon in the defense.
They need some
You're talking
offensive
about
line
teams that
help
make noise.
too. They do.
And they
They
took
do.
one this year.
Yep.
But they need help at a lot of spots. They're like Texans. They're Texans NFC.
Right.
I could see a bright future for Gannon and the Cardinals. It's not going to happen this year, but
He's
they
a good
play
coach,
teams
though. I think he's the
extremely
best
tough.
coach they've had there in quite some time.
Might be.
Since Bruce Arians.
Speaking of Bruce Arians, should we talk about Tampa Bay's Monday night loss to the Philadelphia Eagles?
Mike Evans is a fucking stud. Agreed?
Yeah, we can all.
He made some catches in that game. I was like, damn.
I also think it's beyond, like, of course, people are saying, oh, it's a contract year. I think it's beyond
No,
that. He's been good
no.
every year of his career, and it hasn't mattered who his quarterback is.
Mike
Mike
Evans
Evans
is
is
that
good.
guy.
They're gonna
Evans
talk
is good.
about Mike Evans like they talked about Larry Fitzgerald, because decades he's had probably one decent quarterback the whole time in his career.
And married to the franchise.
Yes.
Committed to the franchise, a
Correct.
franchise guy.
Drafted by that
Yeah.
franchise and committed to them.
Now, funny enough,
All
I think
these
if
years.
they keep losing, I think he's going to get traded this year.
I
But
do too.
I'm with you.
I see that possibly happening.
I'm with
yes.
you.
And
He's just a great player.
I think this is the spot where they start to, where Tampa becomes the Tampa that I thought they were going to be.
It might happen.
Well,
Yeah.
I also think the Eagles weren't as strong as they could have been.
No, the
I
Eagles-
don't think they're passing
they're
the
still
ball well
not
right
clicking
now.
yet.
In my
No.
opinion, they're not at Eagles' strength yet.
No.
This will be Tampa this week goes to New Orleans. That'll be the test. And then they come to bye,
Yeah,
and
'cause
then
that's a
they're
very
And
tough
again,
divisional
and
game.
again, they haven't won in like Tom Brady didn't win in a Bucs jersey in New Orleans. And it goes back even further than that. It's just a hard place for the Bucs to play for some reason.
and then they play us in Tampa after the bye. So that's a test. And then they play Atlanta, and then they're at Buffalo, and then they're at Houston,
Yeah. So
and then
Caleb,
they're at San Francisco.
Caleb
They-
Williams
they-
might be back
Caleb
in the
Williams
crosshairs.
back in
Yeah.
the cards.
The Eagles just aren't clicking. I want that on the record. I think 100% that the Niners are the class. of the AFC right this
Jalen
year.
Carter was. I don't know if you watch this guy at all, but I was watching him.
He's
and watching
unblockable.
Him just
You can't block him.
He was destroying linemen left and
Tell us about that forced fumble that he had.
he just, you know what? The hands are so good for a guy his age. They don't. It just, and he's a monster. He's just a big guy. Him and Jordan Davis next to each other. My God, it's just fucking. It's not fair.
I know.
Yeah.
I
It's
want
not fair. It takes 4 guys to block these 2 guys.
Someone in one of my group chats, Z, shout out to Arab Fantasy again. I love you guys. I know Uncle Sam's sick of hearing me say that, but they're the ones blowing the chat up today.
Okay.
Someone in the group chat said, how the hell did we let that happen? Did we let Jalen Carter
you know what?
and Jordan Davis
We
end
let
up
the
next to each
Jordan
other?
Davis thing happen that I'm still fucking pissed off about because they should have took him at 12, not Jameis Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go to my grave saying that they should have took Jordan Davis. You would not have the issues that they had on this defensive line last year.
And then you can make the same
If
case
they would've
this
done
year.
that.
You can make the same case this year with
Well, yeah,
Gibbs.
you could.
Gibbs
Would you
over.
have taken Jameer Gibbs at 12 or taking Jalen Carter at 6?
So the bigger picture argument here with that is if you don't make that trade, you don't get Brian Branch probably.
Correct.
Um,
Well, no,
and
not
Laporta, too.
necessarily because we still had a pick there.
Yeah, but there was maneuvering in Laporta. There was maneuvering to be done.
It's one of those 2 you would not have gotten. It would have
Yeah.
probably been Laporta.
I'm good with what we have for right now.
I'm good with what we have. Too.
Unless we see it go
I'm good with-
downhill.
I'm good with what we have too.
Because at the end of the day,
I just think
the run stop,
here's-
we've been good. We've been good at
Yeah,
run
but here's
stop.
my thing. That's not the issue. It's not run stopping. It's called disruption. If you would have put this guy in the middle of the Lions defense next to Lee McNeil,
Yeah.
Aiden Hutchinson would be player of the year
Next
right
to
now.
Hutchinson. And I was saying that all off season. I'm like, we need Jalen Carter to slip there because what it will
Yes.
do is it'll unlock Hutch. And
It'll
yet,
unlock. They can't double team this guy if you got
outside
Carter.
of your Eagles defensive hard on that we
Oh,
had for-
stop. You know what?
Aren't you
Why,
supposed to
'cause
call
I'm
the
right?
doctor when you have an erection lasting longer
Oh,
than
stop.
4 hours?
Hey,
You know
their-
what?
their
You've had this
defense-
Why?
erection
Because
for
I
2
thought
years.
they were the best players in college football.
No, I
Jalen
agree.
Carter
I'm not
was the best
disagreeing
player in
with
college
you.
football.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but at the end of the day, instead of spending 20 minutes talking about how great Jalen Carter is, can we talk about the fact that the Eagles are 3-0, and the reason why we haven't seen them click on all cylinders yet is because you have not gotten a game yet where you have had A.J. Brown, Swift, and Devonta Smith, all 3 of them go off. And I think that's why we
And
haven't
one or the other every game.
Correct. It's been one or the other or 2 and not one. When that all comes together, when every stone in the fucking, what is that?
Is
The big
anybody going to
purple
talk
guy
about
wears-
DeAndre
yeah,
Swift?
Thanos, the Infinity Gauntlet.
When the
Anybody going to talk about DeAndre Swift? I told you DeAndre Swift would have a good year.
You're 2 games in.
That's
I did
fine.
say that.
That's
You're
fine.
2
I
games
don't
in.
think it lasts.
I did
say that.
I personally don't think it lasts.
think
And good for him because he's carried them the
Yeah.
last 2 weeks. I don't think it lasts.
not gonna
and he also gets injured. That injury's
Right.
coming.
No,
at some point.
I agree. I agree with that. But if he could stay healthy,
He's not going to.
he's gonna be vicious.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
Who's right about Mike Williams again?
About Mike Williams getting hurt.
Yeah.
You were. I guess.
DeAndre
Death,
Swift's not making it.
Texas,
hurt all the time.
Mike Williams getting hurt again.
Either
Death,
him or-
taxes, and Chargers wide receivers dying. So we have one more to talk about. The Bengals and the Rams, a Super Bowl rematch.
This game was dog shit.
I mean, this game.
both
was
of those
absolute
games were
fucking-
dog shit.
They were
both those
fucking
games.
poop. I was sitting there
I
watching
felt
this,
so
and
bad.
banging my
Matt
head against the wall.
Stafford, I'm sorry, dude. I'm so glad he's gone.
Yeah, he played piss poor.
He's bad.
From
played
that
piss
game
poor.
last week that he put on a performance against San Francisco,
Mm-hmm.
and then to come in and go there and lay a fucking egg like he did.
It reminded me of the
My
games where
God.
he didn't have Kelvin Johnson and he'd try and just force the ball in all different ways and he just wasn't able to do it. And he's just they ain't it. I credit to the Bengals. I still think they look like shit right now. I think Burrow looks like shit right now.
They did it with Burrow's at about 50%.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the guy still does it.
But Jamar Chase
when he had
returned. Burrow made some big throws. And the defense, the Bengals were good 2 years ago because they were getting it done in all facets. They were good defensively, and Burrow held up
Yesterday,
his
the
end of the
defense-
bargain.
Well, it showed up.
It showed up. It's the first time it showed up this year, and Burrow gutted it out. Credit to him. He's not 100%. He had a great comment. He's like, well, what are the risks? You know, is it a bigger risk if I get hurt again and it gets injured pretty bad, or is it a bigger risk if we go 0-3? And that's the reason why I love Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
He wasn't
Yeah.
great, but he made some big throws and did enough to win.
Just
and,
didn't.
No, I agree with that too. Joe, you know what? He did it, man. The guy's at about 50%. And
Yeah,
he's
you could
still
see it.
doing it, dude.
You could see it.
Shout out to Dax Hill, had a big game.
Yeah. He
Dax
sure,
Hill,
he sure did go blue.
Michigan Wolverine.
He's looking better and better. They're
Yeah.
looking smart for letting Jesse Bates walk.
He's the guy that took over for Jesse Bates.
Yeah.
And Jamar Chase finally had a
Finally
good
had
game.
a good game.
Yeah.
Finally had a good
160
game.
yards. Yeah.
Well, that's because Joe
141,
Burrow was
yep.
just ass hammering him with targets.
Yeah, but I mean,
man.
if you're Burrow and you're hurt and you got nothing else to do, just
That's
toss
what
the
he was
ball.
doing.
Fuck
When in
Jamar
doubt.
Chase.
Him the ball.
Right, Puka Nacua, your big trade target from last week.
Yeah.
5 for
Fucking-
72 and no touchdown.
What's the name? Finally had a good game.
Who?
Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon had a decent game.
Yeah.
I'm still worried about that whole running situation. There.
Yeah, there it doesn't seem like their timing is very good in the run game at all.
No, it's not.
Where last year they were fucking clicking at this time.
It's not. Can we save college talk for Friday?
Yeah.
We can.
Why don't we talk about it now?
Because we're at like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
So?
we're at 91 minutes, and we usually don't go past an hour.
And we
20.
still got to talk
Okay.
about
Hour
Lions
31.
Packers.
And we still have to preview Lions
Thursday night.
Packers.
Well, promise Uncle Sam and I a
Let's do it
good
right
college talk on Friday.
I promise you a good college talk on Friday. We can open the show with college on Friday, but we have to do Lions Packers because
Okay.
again, our hometown team, Thursday night football, biggest fucking game of the week. Okay,
Another night game, primetime game for the
Prime
Lions.
time.
Primetime game for the Lions.
So Lions
On
are
the
one,
road.
Lions are 1.5 point favorites heading into Lambeau, over under 46. Let's start with that over under. Here's the thing. I think that they can both put up 23 points. Like, let's think about this realistically. Can both these teams score 4 touchdowns on each other?
yes.
At the end of the day, Green Bay couldn't run the ball last week, and they still put up 18, right?
Yes.
So I think in this situation here, I'm taking the over in this game. I think that both these teams will be able to score at will. I'm kind of surprised the Lions are only 1.5 point favorites, though. I thought they were going to come into this a little bit.
I'm not. They know
Stronger.
some Green Bay knows some guys are coming back off their.
But hey, some guys are coming back for the Lions too.
Yes, I mean, they're both beat up.
No,
right now.
let's all talk about it. Who's the biggest guy coming back for both teams?
Dave Montgomery.
You're going to say Aaron Jones. I think the biggest guy coming
David
back for both
Montgomery.
teams. It's Taylor Decker that's coming back for both
That too.
teams. I think that's the biggest player.
The Lions need him bad.
Yeah.
So they can push Sewell back over to the right side, so they actually could run that way.
Yeah.
I'm not going against the Lions here, though. Give me the Lions by.
I'm not either.
1.5
Now with Decker
all day
coming
long.
back, I'm taking the Lions.
Yeah, you have to. I mean,
That's what made you
Lions
pick
in the
last-
over.
Look,
What?
That's what made your pick last week was the fact that Decker was out.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I like the Lions. I actually like the under because the under tends to hit in that game in Green Bay. I think
That's
you're going to
true.
see a lot of Jordan Love turnovers. A lot of Jordan Love turnovers. It's going to come down once they realize they can't run the ball. He's going to be airmailing it like he's doing. Look for the Lions secondary to eat like they ate the other day. It's going to be similar to the Desmond Ridder. I do think Jordan Love is good, but I think it's going to be similar to the Desmond Ridder performance in the sense that they're going to be forcing the ball downfield and there's not going to be a lot. I trust David Bakhtiari's out, so I know
He's
Seattle
done
is
for the year?
missing. I don't know
I
if he's
thought
done
he
for
was
the
done
year.
for the year.
I think it's a week-to-week thing.
Okay.
Christian
but,
Watson's still doubtful.
Yeah, they say
They're
he's going to
saying he's
play.
gonna play.
They say Christian Watson's going to play.
Rashawn Gary is questionable.
Yeah, who's also
problem.
going to play. I just really think the difference in this game is the Lions' defense. I love Jordan Love. I think he's played excellent. I just don't think he is it. I think when he's going to be playing from behind, like he will be tomorrow, that's when you don't want Jordan Love as your quarterback because he's going to be airmailing it and he's going to throw the ball away a few times. I love the Lions to cover. If the over hits, it's going to be because the Lions run up the score. I just don't think it's happening.
The key for the Lions this week is David Montgomery.
It's big.
He will open everything else up.
It's big.
And like he said, DeAndre Campbell is out. Their best linebacker is out. Well, I think he's their second best linebacker, but I still think Quay Walker is better than
And
him.
if you consider Rashawn Gary a linebacker too, which I think Packers fans actually consider him a linebacker over a DN, but
he's a defensive end.
I love the Lions. I do like the under just because historically the under hits in that game and it's closer. I think Jordan Love isn't going to be able to do enough. I think the Packers are going to stall out. I think the Lions are going to have some hiccups with the return of Montgomery and the return of Decker, but these guys are getting healthy at the right time. This is a huge game. This is a huge fucking game.
Big game.
It's week 4, and if we said that they were going to be 3-1 through 4 weeks, if you look at the season as segments, 4-week segments, okay? Mike Babcock, who we talked about, used to talk about the wing season as they play 82 games. He goes, there's 8-10 game segments. The NFL season is pretty much four game segments. And then, of course, there's the 17th game now. But if you're 3-1 with a 1-game lead in the division, Green Bay's still got a tough schedule ahead of them. You're obviously ahead of Chicago, and you're obviously ahead of the Vikings. From there, it gets hard. Their second segment is hard. A surprising Bucks team, a Ravens team that's going to be tough on the road, but then you also have the Panthers, and then you also have the Raiders. That's how you close out going into the bye, okay? Out of the bye, you get Chicago twice. You get Green Bay again at home. You get the Vikings twice. I mean, you're probably winning 4, maybe even 5 of those games right there. If you're talking, you get these 3, that's 8 wins. I know the arithmetic's probably flowing over your heads right now. 3-1 to start the year is really good.
Well, let's just say it this
Not
way.
only that, you're going to have a 1-game lead on Green Bay. You're going to have a 2-game lead on Chicago already.
3.
2.
They're at 2 right now. Lions
Right.
are 2-1, and the Bears are 0-3.
You're 0-3.
Yeah.
So you're going to have 3-game lead on them, 3-game lead on the Vikings.
Here's the thing: if the Lions can just replicate what they've done in this first segment, go 3-1, and even they drop the 17th game, it's a 12-5 season.
And this is a
They're winning
tough.
the
That's
division.
that's my point. If we're looking at it from 4 segments, and you go, if you're on pace for 12 wins right there,
You're on
without
pace
including
for
the last
12
game.
and 5.
Yeah, and that for sure wins you the division. If
without
not,
question.
you're a top 2 seed in the
Right.
NFC, and it's just huge. Like they've beaten Green Bay 4 times before. It happened. They swept them in 17 and 18, if I remember correctly. But you have a chance to win 4 in a row and make it 5 later. They haven't beaten them 5 in a row since the 80s. Okay. That New Orleans game really sucks because then you're looking at a 2-game lead.
It was before Brett Favre got there.
It was before Brett Favre got there, exactly.
Don Mikowski was the quarterback.
But the 3-1, like the Lions haven't had a 3-1 lead through 1 month
Magic
since
Man.
2016, and it's less likely they choke it away this year, considering there's no Aaron Rodgers coming back. The other 2 teams are out of the picture. It's huge. This is a way bigger game than Kansas City, and if you told us 3-1. After 4 weeks going into that Panthers game, if you told us the Lions would be sitting at 3-1, we would have all been, that's pretty fucking good. Because a lot of people
We all
expected
were.
2-2. A lot of people expect a different way. They didn't think Seattle would be the one. But a lot of people were expecting 2-2. And 3-1 is huge. You got to win this game tomorrow. This is a huge game. I think the Lions are going to treat it as such. They always rise up for this Green Bay game. Look for a big game from David Montgomery. I'm with you, Uncle Sam.
I agree, 1,000%. Anything to add? I just want to give a big shout out to Kelly Sharmuta in the chat right now.
Kelly Sharmuta.
Shout out to Kelly Sharmuta. Anything to add?
I don't know who that is.
I'm asking you about the Lions Packers game. Do you have anything to
Well-
toss in there?
It's real simple. Keep Brian Branch in the box. I think Khalif Raymond needs to go deep more.
Keep us all in the
Laugh all
box
you
while we're
fucking
at it.
want, Bruce, you fucking cock. You wish you were in the box. But anyway, keep him in the box. Send Raymond deep,
And use
and
Gibbs
you will
for
open
fuck's
up the
sake.
rest of the field. You will open up the rest of the field. Them underneath routes to St. Brown will be wide open.
It'd be a lot of fun if this is Gibbs coming out. part
Yeah,
of
it
the round.
would.
It
That's
would
what I'm
be. It
saying.
would be
Yeah, perfect.
ideal.
It'd be perfect for them for this to be
It
there.
would be ideal. Hey,
I want to see him
Prepare the
and
director's
Montgomery on
chair
the
for
field at
me.
the same time.
prepare the director's chair. That's all I'm saying. David Montgomery and
I
Gibbs on the
want them
field
on
at
the
the
field
same
at the
time.
same time.
So you're taking Lions over. I'm taking Lions over. He's taking Lions
Yeah.
under.
Over.
Bruce,
Lions over.
Lions over.
I think they're really going to pound some points.
There's
out.
a scenario
I
where
think
the
both
Lions
teams are
hit
gonna
the
put up
over
some points.
themselves. There's a scenario.
Yeah.
That's
This
the
isn't-
scenario I'm going.
This isn't the Packers of old. They are not a good team. They're a tough team. They got a lot of great pieces. They've
And the
regressed.
last time they played them, they had 3 interceptions in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Was it 2 of them to Kirby Joseph?
2 of them.
Is he playing this week?
Kirby Joseph is supposed. Listen, they have 5 questionable guys. 4 out of the 5 are going to play. David Montgomery's likely to play. Taylor Decker's likely to play. Kirby Joseph is likely to play. Mosley could play. Vitai's
I
probably going
think
to be
they're
out.
holding him back. They said he had a little setback with his
It was his hamstring. It wasn't
with
the
his
ACL.
recovery, but
You know, we forgot about a big one. Jets signed Trevor Siemian.
Anyways, gangrene still has gangrene, and you got to cut the gangrene out, which is Zach Wilson, and then until then, Trevor Siemian does.
Trevor Seaman, starting quarterback for the Jets.
I remember he had a couple good years in Denver.
Anyways,
He did.
anything else to add before we end today's show?
Call Matt Ryan. Woody, call Matt Ryan.
Prepare the director's chair. That's it. That's all I got to say.
Either call him or call Phillip Rivers. By the way,
Oh my God.
I did hear something interesting on the radio. Lou Holtz.
Okay.
I don't know if you know
Lou
who he
Holtz.
is.
Dude,
Let's do the college talk. I know what you're going to say, but go ahead.
Lou Holtz and Ryan Day's little fucking
Okay, they had their little
cooter
spat.
slap. Yeah, I know.
Lou Holtz accused Ryan Day's team of being a little soft, and they are. Let's all be honest.
What
They're soft.
specifically did he
So
say?
Ryan Day got all fucking mad, said his team's tough, blah blah blah. They came out. Who did they beat?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame. Notre
Holtz-
Dame's not even
Lou
that
Holtz
good
coached
anymore.
at Notre
they're not.
Dame.
They're not even fucking relevant anymore.
Yes, they are. They're rated 2 spot. Were they 8th? It was
They're not
6 versus
relevant
8,
anymore.
wasn't it?
Notre
were.
Dame hasn't been good since the 90s.
Listen. We owe this good college talk. We owe
I
like
just-
15,
I just
20
want
minutes.
to say something.
Go ahead.
Lou Holtz was on for the rebuttal of Ryan Day
Yes.
talking shit to him. Did you hear the interview with Lou Holtz?
I saw it today. His
Okay,
report
Lou
today.
Holtz talked about it being, he said what he said. He didn't back out from what he said. And he talked about a game back when Notre Dame played Miami. And he was up against the one and the only, the greatest college coach of all time, Jimmy Johnson. And they said he told his guys to go out there and kick their ass and leave Jimmy Johnson for him.
You
Meaning-
said Jimmy Johnson's name.
Meaning he was going to kick Jimmy Johnson's ass. Let
Who
me
would've
tell you
won?
something, Lou Holtz. Jimmy Johnson would have slapped you with this minkia, and it would have been all done for you.
We have a
I don't know
minkia
what
sighting.
the fuck you're talking about, you old senile geezer.
Minkia
Jimmy
does
Johnson
in
will
fact
beat you to death
mean
with his
dick.
hammer.
It means dick, just so you guys know.
Jimmy Johnson,
what?
the face of Extend.
That's all I wanted to say
I'm
about
shocked
it.
as someone that
That's
hates
it.
the Cowboys as much as you do that you like Jimmy
He
Johnson.
likes Jimmy Johnson because Jimmy Johnson was the face of prophylactics for so long. Or how
No, that's not why. Listen to me. Jimmy Johnson is the godfather of the draft board. Jimmy Johnson is one of the greatest coaches
and
of
he
all
has a
time.
huge cack.
He's won college national championships. He's won 3 fucking Super Bowls. And Jerry Jones is too fucking stupid to listen to a guy
He's
of that
fucking
caliber
90.
of coach. He coached the greatest players in college football. He was at the U.
And he's logging with a big chain.
That's beside the point.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast.
God bless Jimmy Johnson.
Am I good now?
Yes.
Make sure to follow our socials, Instagram and Twitter at Tip Balls, TikTok at Tip Balls Podcast. If you're listening to us on Apple or Spotify, check out our YouTube and remember to subscribe. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for chiming in the chat. You will hear from us on Friday.